Flagg in a wheelchair. It's no joke. I got the photo here, and they just showed video on TV too. A wheelchair to get his leg examined. So they are not taking any
already
chances.
taking the shoe and sock off because of swelling. Yeah, this is bad.
Not taking any chances with the guy.
All right, so that is the latest on what's gone on at the ACC tournament. We'll update you if we have an update or we go back live because Cooper Flagg has dictated it and we've already scheduled it. But 2 to 4 today at Innisfree. We're live. If you're in the area, Lakeview, come in. But watch us on our video platform, thanks to our friends at Bud Light. There's the picture. Forrester finishing with a strikeout to complete his perfect game.
Wow.
There is Cooper Flagg in a wheelchair going to the examination room there in Charlotte where the Hornets play. So they've got a great medical staff there taking care of him. We'll take care of you 2 to 4 this afternoon, and then we're off to Nashville for the SEC tournament. The games are starting now at Bridgestone. Enjoy them. Remember, Auburn gets the winner of the first one. Arkansas and Ole Miss. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America. Hey friends, if you're looking to expand your business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us at sales@nextroundlive.com to be part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential consumers on our ever-expanding platform. Let the Next Round help take your business to the next level. Get more information by emailing us at sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level with the Next Round. Think about the best summer nights of your life. How many of those were in a great t-shirt? Visit nextround.store to get the perfect t-shirt for the next perfect southern night. Nextround.store. The memories are waiting.
As we all know, there's no off-season when it comes to college football. If you want to stay in the know with all things Alabama, join us over on covercrimson.com and get $25 off your annual subscription. We'll keep you up to date and give you exclusive content all the way to the first Saturday of football season on covercrimson.com. Since you listened to my last message so well and got rid of those cargo shorts and stained t-shirts, it's time to replace them with Roback. Go to Roback.com and click on the Refresh collection to find all that you need for an EG-approved wardrobe. It includes pieces that will have you ready to hit the golf course after a busy day of meetings or comfy favorites for travel and working from home. Get 20% off using code TNR20. See, I'm saving you some money.
All right, Auburn fans, I want you to become a member of thebarnauburn.com and join in on the fun. Whether it's recruiting discussions, off-season chatter, or the latest Auburn athletics news, we've got it all. Get $25 off your annual subscription when you sign up for your account at thebarnauburn.com today. War Eagle.
When you crave activity like we do, you belong in the Roback family. Get the best golf wear, hoodies, and activewear for men and women at Roback.com. Use promo code TNR20 to get 20% off your order. That's Roback.com, promo code TNR20.
If you're looking to expand business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us. Send an email to sales@nextroundlive.com to be a part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platform. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, and reach the most desirable audience for your business. Get information and more by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios. The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Coming up live on the show, something I guarantee you Kirby Smart hated doing recently. An unbelievable, in fact, I told it to LT. He did not believe it's true and still doesn't, I don't think. Bill Belichick story.
I don't believe it.
That's coming up. And a crazy day in basketball in places not Nashville, Tennessee, but it was the craziest day, maybe in SEC tournament history. I don't think it's over exaggeration.
No, I would not. I would not say that's over exaggeration.
I hate to admit this, but what I told you when I first saw you this morning.
Yep.
So when me and Brown got in, you and Taylor were going to the arena to cover the games. We had no plan to go to the games last night. We were starting our journey over to Bridgestone today.
Yep. Just grab a dinner and settle in Nashville. You and little T were going to go do some work.
Yes, we're going to get post game sound. We thought easily from Kentucky after a blowout. And put that out on our platform.
So we're staying at Midtown. We watch Mississippi State, Missouri take out Mississippi State, and then we go over to the Gulch.
Easily worst game
of the day. Yeah, I mean,
and it had so much potential, though. Yeah. It really did.
Oh, it was back and forth until the end.
Yeah.
It was good.
I'm just talking about we didn't get that photo finish. You got with everything else.
Yeah.
So we watch until a little after halftime of Kentucky and Oklahoma, and we're in a place at the Gulch, and it's completely packed out. And there's a lot of Kentucky fans there too, but at halftime, you could see a lot of people got it because it was so late to probably go back to their rooms or wherever they were going. So shortly after that, we took it back to the hotel. And when I got to the hotel, I couldn't find the SEC network. So I immediately text Brown, where's the SEC network on our TVs?
What did Brown text back?
Brown texted nothing back. Absolute crickets because he was straight asleep.
I went right to the sack.
Which I nailed. One of the SEC officials says, hey, man, I see you and Taylor. Where's Brown? And I said, have you looked at your watch? That guy's out.
So I pull a score on my phone, and it's like a 12-point game with 4:22 to go. And I was like, I'm out. Go to bed. And then I wake up this morning. I'm like, hey, you got to be kidding me. Please explain what happened because I know Brown didn't see it. I sure as hell didn't see it.
I have since, but I didn't see it live. I got to be honest with you. When it was 12 points, I was like, this game is over.
I mean, did Fears take the game over?
He did. Kentucky started turning it over. And it was basically 90 seconds from a double-digit lead to all of a sudden, boom, boom, boom. Fears hits one, and Oklahoma's up one with 5.6 seconds left.
I know. It was going to be –
that's crazy.
Our buddy Pat Forty has a thing on social media that he calls the HLA, the horrible loss alert. Loss alert. That was going to be an HLA for Kentucky. It wasn't going to kill them or maybe not a drop on a C, but a terrible way to go into the NCAA tournament.
Well, there were 16,800 fans for that final game that did not tip until almost 9:45, right?
Right.
Central Time.
Yeah, Lance pointed that out. We were in the restaurant. He goes, oh, my gosh, this game's not going to tip to 9:45. And I go, no, Lance, it's 8:45. And he's like, Brown, look at your watch. I was like, I am. It's 8:45. I realized I forgot to set my watch. So I could not believe that game was tipping.
That was on Mountain Time all day.
Yeah, it was.
So I'm sitting there, and it's all Kentucky fans. And as with 5 seconds left, everyone that we were back waiting for the post game, we're in the tunnel watching the final few seconds, and everyone's like,
I just saw it, by the way.
It's crazy.
Finally,
with the Kentucky
terrible defense,
with the Kentucky fan base with 5.6 left, and there's no sound in the arena because they're all Kentucky fans. 16,000, they're stunned, and everyone around me who covers Kentucky was like, this loss, even though it's meaningless on the season, is the kind of loss that could haunt Mark Pope if this thing doesn't go well in the NCAA tournament into next year. It would have been that kind of brutal breakdown. But with 5.6 left, they inbound it to Oweh, who used to be
Oklahoma's second leading scorer last year.
He left Oklahoma, and he dribbles in 5.1 second from one end of the floor to the other and lays it in basically uncontested.
Yeah, just a weird buzzer beater. Like, that was my takeaway from it, is that's a strange buzzer beater that you dribble from one end. I mean, it is not the same exact shot. Was it Tyus Edney?
Tyus Edney for UCLA in 1995 when they won the national championship against Missouri.
Yeah.
So I think it was a 1 versus an 8.
Yeah.
But he went wire to wire. But that one, you were like, I don't know. There was something about it. Like Missouri didn't think that he had time. There was something weird about that.
He went right down the middle. Oweh goes, kind of from the wing.
I mean, the defensive breakdown on that.
Terrible.
And you had 2 guys on ball.
Yeah. And you just let him go all the way for an easy lay-in. It was just about the only defense was the clock. Could he dribble down? And he got there at 0.5 seconds. rerouting him at any point.
Yeah. Just stop the ball, man.
Reroute him at any point. He has to zig or zag.
Now, I don't know what the foul situation. I would assume they're in the double bonus at that point.
I mean, the whole day was double bonus.
Back to what you said about Pope, and I do think this is interesting because, the way it went out with Calipari, I mean, obviously he wasn't necessarily a fan favorite at the end, but you heard the questions that we played yesterday on the next round on the show where one of the reporters asked him in the press conference, you really don't put a lot into these tournament games, and he was very sarcastic after that. But how bad would it be? Because Kentucky fans do put a lot into these games.
Yeah. Any game they play.
Because they're all here.
Yeah,
they spend their money.
And that's another thing, Brown. I am so glad we left. I can't imagine how loud that place would have been.
Oh, I know.
After the buzzer beater. But if Pope would have lost that game after Calipari's comments just a couple of days ago, just the timing of that. But
they spend their hard-earned money to come to Nashville every year. They flood this place. Where you guys were, there were a bunch of Kentucky fans who couldn't get tickets into that session. They were waiting for today to buy more tickets. It was almost a very cheap ticket for Alabama fans tonight. That's what it almost was.
And I think that's who they wanted to see. We talked about that, right?
Oklahoma, a team you beat by 30.
And Oklahoma, another team that was down double digits and claw back.
A team that's had to play 2 late-night games. Yeah, I mean, that's who you wanted to see for sure.
We're going to go into the locker room. We're going to hear from Mark Pope. I actually asked a Kentucky player, do you know what time it is? He had no clue. Is it midnight yet? I said, dude, it's 1:35 in the morning, your time. 1:35. That's when we were in the locker room last night talking to the Kentucky players. They were still there. We'll go to the locker room, but first, we're at one of the coolest, neatest bars in Nashville.
Yep.
It is a historic bar, but this is a new part of it, the Cellar. And we're here today with our friends at Kickin' It Coolers. We've got some stuff to try out, including Brown's Moonshine that he's going to hit here in a second. Is that Moonshine? Is that what that is?
Yeah, that's Tennessee Shine.
Yeah. So Brown's going to do a shot of that.
Jalapeno cornbread, and that's how they make the jalapeno cornbread Bloody Mary here.
Our man Richard Holland, who I didn't realize is knocking on the doorstep of probably the next Adrian Brody. Probably multiple Oscars in his future based on the
Did you know he acted?
I have spent a time with him on a boat outside of the Floribama, so I knew he had some drama in him.
Yeah.
He was showing us. You remember our situation, not a situation, but 2013 when we got that place out in L.A. and we were hanging out next to Cuba Gooding Jr. on his birthday.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he was in a movie with Cuba's brother where he played the abusive father. And he was showing us this stuff last night. It was awesome. Anyway, he has brought us
he must be a great actor. There's not an abusive thing in that guy's head.
No, but then he was like, and I'm in this other thing where, I'm an abusive boyfriend.
Yeah.
And I'm like, my God, they've typecast you.
Yeah, they sure have. But we've got how many different Tennessee Shine do we have? 3? 7 or 8. 7 or 8 different moonshines that we're going to be sampling today. So there you go.
And we're here at the Cellar. Just coming to this bar, just start with the great drinks, but just to see the steel work above this bar, they have. I can't even describe it. We'll send it out on social media.
It's the iconic photo that we've all seen before of the steel workers on one beam, like at a lunch break,
on a skyscraper in New York.
It looks like I'm just roughly back in the 20s, 30s. These guys have their lunch pails. You've got a couple of guys that have got, probably. Maybe post-prohibition, but they've got a pine on them.
Yeah, and it's not a painting.
I thought it was at first. Yeah,
it's hanging above a bar, but this is actual life-size steel work.
Every one of those workers weighs 60 to 70 pounds.
Wow.
It is actually, they have been dipped. I forgot, Mike, the owner, told me this. By the way, former hockey player from British Columbia, relocated to Nashville in 1995.
Oh, was he the enforcer?
I mean, he looks like he can handle himself. Yeah. I didn't get that deep with him, but relocated here in 1995. They have reopened this 3.5 months ago. It's an awesome bar. But that mural you were talking about is one of the coolest things I've seen in the bar.
Made of steel. So fantastic. It's just a great bar here, and it's just Brown. What's the name of this district again?
Printers Alley is the district around here. This is 3rd Avenue North, 211 3rd Avenue North. If you're in town, swing by. We'll be here until noon at the Cellar. And if you're not in town right now, when you come to Nashville, come to this place. You'll be thankful you did a really, really cool spot, the Cellar. But it is 211 3rd Avenue North in Nashville in the Printers Alley district, the Cellar. We're just blocks from Bridgestone. You could easily walk to Bridgestone from here if you're hanging out in Nashville looking for something to do.
Great pregame. And right now we've got $7 jalapeno cornbread Bloody Marys. Those $6 panty droppers we were talking about. Kat is behind the wood back there slinging the drinks.
Yep.
So make sure you come see us. We've already got plenty of people that are on their way right now. So really looking forward to a huge day, not only here at the Cellar, but also, if we can get even close to the games we got yesterday.
Okay, so what we're going to get to coming up, we go to the locker room thanks to our friends at Bojangles, Brown. I say it every day, don't be a nugget, be a bite at Bojangles.
I don't think that's going to stick.
Okay, I'm working.
Are you workshopping
I'm
this?
working on their taglines. Yes.
Yeah. So you're.
Oh, by the way, as Brown's pulling this, the worst day in Lancelot history yesterday.
Well, stand by. Hemp Hill's coming up here.
Okay. The worst day.
I was there for it, by the way. I saw the worst day.
And I can't make Dunaway. You're going to be like, oh, wait.
He's heard it.
I've heard the number now.
He's heard part of it. I do love the fact. I'm just going to say this real quick. I do love the fact that Lance is going to own this. By the way, listen. Hey, by the way, if you're tired of choosing between sweet and savory, why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The signature Cajun chicken filet drizzled with bowberry glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Available for a limited time. It's bow time.
And our friends at Hemp Hill, hot, cold. Cold is more what LT was.
You know,
cold will be good for you.
We had one guy that was having some serious technical issues, and it ended up being it was just a one-off. And so we had to work, a long time to get him back on. And so I finally texted him the pics. You know, he sent me a DM. I sent back and said, just text me in the morning. So he texted me yesterday. I sent him all the pics, and he's like, yes, I am ready to roll. I said, let's win. Now, for whatever reason, there was just so many damn games yesterday. I ended up giving out 17, 2 in the NBA, 15 in college. I ended up going
17 games.
Yeah, which is a lot.
That is a lot.
That's about that's a massive college basketball Saturday. But when you've got over 100 games on the board, sometimes that happens. Anyway, played 17, went 2 and 15 yesterday.
Yeah.
So I was 13 and 5 on the week going into yesterday. Felt like we were really heating up coming into March. Can't get any worse, I'll tell you that.
That's right. It's only up from here.
Yep. Hemp Hill Services always brings you the lot. We will have free play up later today. Again, this will be a massive bounce back day for you. So if you weren't on board yesterday, if you were, sorry, ship did sink. We bring it back up today. Always brought to you by Hemp Hill Services, 205-229-2090. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
Did you hear Kat, the bartender? She said, hell, I could have gone 2 and 15.
I mean,
Kat, you could throw a dart at a board and be better than 2 and 15, right?
Absolutely. All right, so we go to the locker room after Kentucky's win last night over Oklahoma. Again, Oklahoma actually took the lead, and then with 5.6 left down the floor, Oweh gets in there with 0.5 and gets the game winner. Kentucky survives. They get Alabama tonight, again, scheduled to start around 8:30, 8:45. Last night, that quickly turned to 9:45 tip Central Time here in Nashville. So it was a late night. It was an emotional night. Here is Mark Pope on the greatness of the moment last evening.
The story is you can't, if you just talk about the last play, you lose the greatness of the moment. The greatness of the moment is that Ortega turned it over 2 times in a row in the last minute and blowing a 10-point lead, right? Which I'm responsible for, he's responsible, everybody's responsible for. And what makes that moment so spectacular is that he was somehow able, our team was somehow able to move past the devastation of just kicking to the curb, an emotional, hard-fought win, and losing Lamont, and all the things that came with that. And that these guys, these really special guys that love Kentucky so much and want so badly to perform to this team, that they were like, okay, this thing went totally bad on us, and we totally messed this up, all of us, myself included, and then they still stayed present enough to make a game-winning play in the last 5 seconds. That's why that play is so special, right? And that's why I couldn't be more proud of Ortega and the whole team for doing that.
And there's something to that, LT, that it went as bad as it could go for about 84 seconds. And then they still pulled it out of the ditch.
Well, I mean, what happens? Was it missed free throws? I see Brea make some. There's multiple. There's 3 turnovers.
That's right. It's a bucket, and then they turn it over on the pressure, or just a bad pass, or just bad dribbling. It was just a mental breakdown. Maybe it's happened to any of your life when you've been out there and just one bad thing leads to another, and you just can't put the brakes on it. And luckily, Oweh he put the brakes on it with 5.6, or this would have been one of the cheapest tickets tonight for a basketball game in Alabama basketball history. Tide fans could have driven up from the state of Alabama or all over Tennessee, come up here and got in for $10.
Found them laying on the ground if they'd been old school paper tickets.
Yeah, I mean, Kentucky winning the battle of the boards. They shot almost 52% from the floor. Yeah, that would have been a tough one to stomach for Kentucky.
No doubt.
Fans.
So we go. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say real quick. Now we don't have an update from last night, but they did win. But I mean, for Kentucky, I mean, this could have been the difference in like a 3. I mean, when I say no update, I'm talking about from Joe Lunardi. A 3 or a 4. I mean, Lunardi has them a 3, and this is like a pretty good bracket for them. Kentucky playing Montana in a 3-14 game. I'd like that if I'm a Kentucky fan. You get the winner, UCLA Drake. Lance and I were talking to somebody the other day that's big on Drake being an upset team in this tournament.
Yeah, they're smart. Whoever told you that.
And then you're in the same bracket as Texas Tech as the 2.
Yep.
I mean, that's a team that likes to run the way you do. I mean, just a game like that last night could take you from a good spot like that, put you at a 4 in a much worse spot somehow.
More importantly, in the immediate future, they get Alabama, who's still battling, trying to get on the 1 line. Cut number 9, Tyler. We're in the locker room, Taylor and I, last night, talking to the Kentucky players, and I talked to Andrew Carr about just the late-night emotions, and now you're having to play a team that loves the pace, Alabama, who had a day off. Let's go to the locker room.
You guys like to play fast like they do. Do you worry about playing so late tonight and you turn around so quickly playing when they've had the night off?
No, we're excited about that. We got a little rhythm now. We felt the gym, got to shoot in the gym a little bit, and so we'll be ready to go tomorrow night.
You have any idea what time it is right now?
No idea.
1:35 Eastern.
That's all right. No worries. We're ready to go.
I like you clarified AM.
No worries.
Yeah, I went Eastern time with them. It was 12:35 here, but they're from the Eastern time zone. And I asked their big guy Williams, who is born in Great Britain, grew up and played in Canada, so he's not from the U.S. And I don't think he knows what Waffle House is. Because I told him, because when I was interviewing him, I was like, man, it's 1:30 in the morning. Usually when I'm up this late, I've had a cocktail and we go to Waffle House. Do you go to Waffle House? And he's sort of looking at me, and I go, get some waffles and eggs and bacon, before you go to bed. He's like, that wouldn't be good recovery food after a game like this.
How little do you know, my man?
Yeah.
Great recovery food.
Is Waffle? I guess it's not. I mean, you would think a Waffle House would be worldwide. I mean, I don't think they are. But
it should be like McDonald's, but are they? Help us out, chat room. Are they even outside of the South? Are they in the North, or is it like Crystals and White Castle? You go far enough north, do they have something else? Does it become a Huddle House or something like that up north? I'd love to know Waffle House locations.
Holy crap, they got 1,900 locations, it says.
1,900, but that's mostly in Alabaster.
1,900 locations, with the majority being in the southeast, with a significant presence in states like Georgia, Alabama, and Florida. But you can find them as far north as Ohio and as far west as Arizona. But it's thinner out there.
I mean, I could probably tell you 10 in the Birmingham area that I know of.
What are you pointing at right there? That's the to-go.
Oh, okay.
No. They don't have one in Venezuela.
Yeah.
I thought you were pointing to go in Venezuela.
No, at one point, it looked like there was a yellow dot in Cuba, and I was like, they've got one in Havana?
We're spreading freedom already. Yes. No, I mean, Waffle House is primarily southeastern, like Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi. They're like 1,700 in that, in the deep south.
Are there even in Kentucky? I don't think so.
It says 110 right there. That's kind of on the Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana border.
Yeah, that's going to be.
map.
Yeah, I don't think that's anywhere near Lexington.
Yeah.
So,
by the way, today's total is one of the highest totals I've seen.
Okay, I remember when they played in Tuscaloosa. After the game they had played in Lexington, we discussed how big that total was going to be. And as I remember it, Lance, it was 180.5. I think it was
181.5.
181.5, because I had a friend that texted me. He's like, I am all over Bama Kentucky under. So I texted Lance. I was like, I know you love it when people say stuff like this. And Lance is like, yeah, that is tough. But I mean, and I think it hit at 180. So what is it today?
Today it's 180.5. Right now, I could see this thing go up. I mean, this is kind of like the Florida-Alabama game that we talked about, 2 weeks ago. Like, I wouldn't feel great about playing the under.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a big, big total.
Yeah, it is. It's a big total, but it's tough to know how Kentucky reacts, and Alabama playing a lot at the rim now. We'll talk more about that game. Auburn gets Ole Miss today. Ole Miss won the first of the day and how the first game of the day over Arkansas. And this was going on when we were at Innisfree yesterday for our show downtown, getting ready for their big St. Patrick's Day weekend coming up. And our bonus show 2 to 4. We're down there and watching the end of this one. And Arkansas and Coach Calipari had this thing in the bag with about 90 seconds left. And just like what happened to Kentucky, it went south really quickly. The only difference is they couldn't pull it out. Padula hit the three. There was no answer from Arkansas. And Arkansas is packing, and Ole Miss is here to play Auburn.
Yeah, that was shocking. And, we did kind of go through it yesterday when we got on the air at Innisfree. But Padula had turned the ball over. Arkansas had taken the 3-point lead. Then you got the non-traditional +1 from Ole Miss. Arkansas goes back. They've got an opportunity with the free throws, and they miss both free throws. And Padula comes down, drills it. They walk it off. I didn't realize this, Chris Beard, during the season. Like, we've always heard about the 24-hour rule that Nick Saban implemented, and a lot of people do that now. Chris Beard has a 12-hour rule, but he has limited it in Nashville to 2 hours. You get 2 hours to celebrate these games.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. Chris Beard also has a rule about don't ask him a dumb question. And I don't even know if it's a dumb question. I'll let you be the judge of this. Cut number 5, Tyler. After the game, he just beat Calipari. Now he's got to play SEC Coach of the Year, Bruce Pearl, for a third time. He's already lost twice to him.
That's right.
So basically the question in the locker room, Forrester tells me, is, well, what's it like for a guy like you to go up against greats like Calipari and Bruce Pearl? Now, remember, Chris Beard's been to a national championship game before.
That is true.
So what's it like for a guy like you to go up against greats like Calipari and Pearl? Let's go to the locker room, Tyler.
I know it's a team game, but you talked about personal challenges and going up against Hall of Fame John Calipari. You get to take on Bruce Pearl next. How satisfying is it for someone like you to play against those guys and find a way to beat them?
I'm not sure what you mean by somebody like me. We won at Fort Scott, then we won at Seminole, we won at McMurray, we won in South Carolina, we won at Angelo State, we won at Little Rock, we won at Texas Tech, we won at Texas, and this is year 2, and we're winning at Ole Miss. And I don't say that in a self-promotion way at all, but I'm going to take up for our staff and our players and stuff that the way you worded that was like, I don't know, this isn't my first rodeo. I might look young because I got a haircut last night. I've got this trendy beard that my daughters like, and so, but I've been doing this for a minute. So, but to answer your question, anytime you have a chance to coach against a Hall of Fame coach, absolutely. We all understand that. To say anything different would not be truthful. So in this league, it's almost every single night. So Coach Cal and then tomorrow, Bruce Pearl. So, we'll see where we stack up. But this is not our first rodeo.
He pulled out of it a little bit. He was really, really pissed.
Yeah, and then he was like, it's not going to
and it, I did. It was kind of a demeaning question. I don't think the guy meant it to be demeaning.
A guy like you.
Someone like you. I mean, I don't. For you to be in our country club, I mean, someone like you.
If you're not a basketball guy, though, this guy should obviously know because he's covering it. But how many people have forgotten by now? Just 7 years ago, this guy did play for a national championship at Texas Tech.
No, I brought it up this week only because we were discussing who's the most accomplished coach in some group of people, and he was in that group of people. It is easy to forget that, Lance. I mean, there is so much that has happened to this guy since then. I was talking to a member of the media in our hotel. I ran into him on my way coming over here this morning, and he was like, oh, you guys are in town with Alabama and Auburn. Y'all finally made it in town. You're joking like, finally here now that Alabama and Auburn, those basketball powerhouses, are going to play. And I was like, we only get here for the double bye days now.
Right, yeah, it's a good team.
That's all we show up for is the double bye days with Alabama and Auburn. And we were joking about that.
Would that have been the first time in history, though, not to hijack your story? I'll let you continue. Kentucky loses before Alabama and Auburn even play?
Yeah, probably so.
I mean, it would be, right?
Maybe so.
I don't know. Did it happen last year?
It's so hard for me to remember year to year, Jim.
Yeah.
But he was saying, today should be fun. He's like, man, I'll just go ahead and tell you, Chris Beard and Bruce Pearl, That is one of the best defenses X and O games you will ever see. This is a basketball. One of the best defensive X and O games you will ever watch.
Well, Beard is 0-2 and not even close in the first two meetings this year. Auburn, we'll get to the betting lines in a second, but Auburn should be in a pretty good position. They get the first game today, Auburn and Ole Miss. It'll be followed up by Texas and Tennessee. Texas is a story after a double overtime win over Texas A&M. We'll talk about the meaning of that win for Texas, where the SEC is on the bubble, and all that still to come as we continue the basketball conversation, the Cooper Flagg injury, all in the next segment coming up. Our coverage here in Nashville of the SEC tournament, brought to you in part today by our friends at Vulcan Tire and Automotive. They're on board for all the fans as you travel during March Madness.
Hey, a lot of people listening to us are going to be doing the spring break thing next week. And before you get that car out on the highway, you load the family in it, you need to make sure that everything is taken care of bumper to bumper. That is what our friends at Vulcan Tire and Auto can do for you. Make sure you stop into one of those great Birmingham locations. Mention the next round. You're going to get the best tire pricing in all of Birmingham, guaranteed. And again, you mentioned the next round, 15% off any and all mechanical services from our friends at Vulcan Tire and Automotive. For more information, see what they can do for you and your car, VulcanTireandAuto.com.
And our buddies at Storm Restoration Roofing. You guys by now hopefully know the weather that's ahead back in the central Alabama area, but really all over the southeast. If you're watching us in Mississippi, down on the coast, even up here in Nashville, and anywhere in between, severe weather is part of the plan on Saturday, so stay on top of that and keep Greg from Pell City front of mind. You'll see the number on his screen. I'll give it to you in a second, or you can just look him up on Facebook, Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing. He's A+ rated. He's locally owned for over 20 years. Trustworthy family guy. He's just out to help you. He's got a great relationship with the insurance companies, and if something happens to your roof or your home, let Greg be the first phone call for you. That way they can come and help you go through the process. He's done this hundreds of times. He can help secure your location so that the insurance company will still be okay with it. And even when it's time to repair your roof or anything with your home, he's got his builder's license. He can help you through the process. And all the time, he gives you a free no-cost roof inspection. So jump on with our buddy Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing. He's the best in the business. He is absolutely a good family guy. And in times of storms and damage and stuff, you want someone that you can trust right there. And that's what you get from our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing. That phone number there is on your screen, and you can hit him up on Facebook as well, Greg from Pell City. All right. Before we take our break here, two things. One, the passing of one of the great American sports writers, love him or hate him, but John Feinstein passed away yesterday, and everyone, especially in basketball, reacting to him, including Coach K, who called him so damn talented, end quote, Coach K, after hearing of John Feinstein's death yesterday. Season on the brink, right?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
The first time I really heard about him, I've never been a big reader, but I used to love reading SI back in the day, and I remember Damon Bailey, and just one of the biggest recruits in the history of Indiana, back and forth between Purdue and Indiana, and how he chronicled that with Bobby Knight. And I just thought it was, such a fascinating piece. And, my former on-air partner, Ian Fitzsimmons, who we still have on the show every now and then, who does, work for ESPN now, he was pretty tight with John. And so John would come on our show back in the day, and I know we've had him a couple of times. And you're right. I mean, love him or hate him, he was a polarizing guy.
He was. If you like basketball, A Season on the Brink is a fantastic one, but also the Legends Club, when he follows a season through the ACC back in the day when the ACC was a real basketball conference, is spectacular. It's early Coach K. It's late Dean Smith. It's Jim Valvano after he won his national championship. Really, really, really good book. He wrote a couple good golf books, A Good Walk Spoiled and The Majors, where he follows kind of behind the scenes. I think it was the 1998 Majors season. If you like golf, that's a really good one too. The guy was so talented.
Yep. And then this guy's 100% healthy as far as I know. But I did not know until this morning that our longtime friend, who's been on the show 100 times, Dennis Dodd, is retiring.
Yeah.
And he wrote his retirement column yesterday after 27 years just with CBS Sports there. So Dennis Dodd, you already knew he was stepping away.
Brown told me that last night. Is he's okay?
As far as I know, I didn't ask that question when I texted Dennis, but I certainly hope so. But I mean, now look, this guy's had a good long career, so not crazy that you would see him walk away. And I'm glad. I tell people this all the time. This profession we have chosen in the media, when you get to walk away on your terms, you have beaten the system.
Yeah, it's like a head coach. It's like a Nick Saban.
Yep. If you get to walk away on your terms and what we do for a living, you have absolutely beat the system.
And you guys correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, what we do is kind of interesting, a combination of everything, but it seems like in our volatile industry, writers are the ones that are jumping around more than ever.
Yep, and Dennis was there at CBS for a long time. Good guy.
27 years just at one entity.
And that's a long time in one place in any business.
It really turned into a really good on-camera guy, too, as his role expanded on CBS HQ and some of the other stuff with CBS Sports and online there with CBS Sports.
Did a lot of work with Josh Pate on that, too. So all the best to Dennis, and good for him getting to retire.
Just a good guy there. So a couple of media things there. When we come back, the double overtime win for Texas. Missouri beat Mississippi State. We've already talked Kentucky. They get Bama. We've already talked Ole Miss. They get Auburn today. Auburn's got the first game here in the slate. The last game is Bama and Kentucky. So two great ones on each end of this day 3 of 4 games of the NCAA tournament. MyBookie.ag with the betting lines today that are out. I mean, what do these guys do in Vegas? They don't sleep because
apparently not.
I mean, at 1:35 Eastern, 12:35 here in Nashville, they're up late figuring out what the point spread is going to be on Bama and Kentucky.
Auburn is a 12.5-point favorite over Ole Miss. The Tennessee Volunteers a 10-point favorite over the Texas Longhorns. Point spreads telling you today's not going to be like yesterday was, by the way. Florida, 9.5-point favorite over the Missouri Tigers. And as you mentioned, the late game, Alabama, a 7-point favorite over the Kentucky Wildcats. We had this legendary day yesterday, and now the smallest point spread is 7. That shows you how good these top 4 seeds are in the Southeastern Conference. You can play all those games in any of today's action at MyBookie.ag. Code next round at MyBookie.ag is going to give you a great sign-on bonus. We're going to give you a 50% bonus in the sportsbook area up to $1,000 and a $10 casino chip right there when you use code next round at mybookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. Mybookie.ag code next round. Mybookie.ag code next round.
We're at the historic Cellar. It's a new look. It's fantastic. It's right here with our friends at Kicking It Cooler. We're sampling some of their products coming up a little bit later on. It is Friday at the SEC tournament in one of the great American cities, Nashville, Tennessee. This is the next round.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that quality legal services be performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Do you need some refreshed college wear to represent your team this year? Shop Roback's Game Day collection that includes both Alabama and Auburn. From quarter zips to hoodies, Roback has it all. Get 20% off on us using code TNR20 at roback.com.
No matter the occasion, the Next Round store has you covered with whatever you need. Head over to nextround.store and start filling your cart up now. When you wear your gear, make sure to let us know by posting on socials, and you might just end up seeing yourself during a commercial break. Go browse now at nextround.store and place your order before the break ends.
when the clock hits 0. Go to all Next Round video platforms for instant reactions for the latest Auburn and Alabama basketball games. Follow, like, subscribe, and set those alerts. The madness starts now, so be a part of it at Next Round Live on all social platforms.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Celebrate the best time of year, tournament time with MyBookie.ag. Sign up right now, code NEXTROUND, and receive a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Plus, a $10 casino chip. Tournament time is here, so enjoy it even more by playing along at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND on your initial deposit for a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Plus, $10 casino chip. Don't get caught by the buzzer. Sign up now at MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Back with you now in Nashville. We're at the Cellar right here, just a couple of blocks away from Bridgestone, and we're live with you until 12. That's when Auburn tips against Ole Miss today as we continue on the countdown to Selection Sunday. A lot of you are asking questions about, hey, are we doing a bracket challenge? Yes, we haven't come up with a punishment yet. We'll do that sometime before the games start next Thursday. We do have a bracket for you at Next Round Live, brought to you by our friends at MyBookie. That'll be ready to go when the bracket is dropped on Sunday. So make sure Sunday night and Monday you jump in with that at Next Round Live, And we have an exciting new style pick'em game that we'll do with our friends at Shannara. Every day of the tournament starting next Thursday. So you want to be online at nextroundlive.com, our website. Pay attention to that and all of our social platforms at Next Round Live, and we'll have that ready to go for you.
The Shannara Showdown.
The
Cash available.
Shannara Showdown coming up next week. Keep this in mind. We're going to set a rule. We're going to go 10 o'clock. We're going to wait until the top of the hour, and then we're going to sample this moonshine first, or we're going to get one of those Bloody Marys?
So our man, Richard Holland.
Yeah.
Richard Gere went back to do a couple of things. He's coming back, and he said that he's going to get the sample set up for us in the 10 o'clock hour.
Okay. There you go.
I don't know what that entails.
10 o'clock.
We'll see.
Okay, back to the action yesterday and a little bubble talk in this segment as we continue on from Nashville today. 162 days away from football, and we got a couple amazing football stories for you later on, but to basketball, and it is brought to you by our friends at Shannara. This update on what we saw yesterday here, part 2 in Nashville.
Yeah, our guy Alexander Shannara and Alexander Shannara trial attorneys, they have been doing it for a very long time, headquartered in Birmingham. More than 24 years they've been working. They've grown to more than 150 attorneys, supported by 500 dedicated team members. They've recovered more than $2 billion. That is billion with a B, $2 billion. And he really had always had a goal of establishing a law firm that could handle anything his community faced, because he's a community-oriented guy. So they handle not only personal injury claims, but claims for fire and storm damage, bad drug and device claims, disability, workers' compensation, and a host of other claims. And when you're in need of an attorney, Alexander Shannara Trial Attorneys is who you call, and you can start at shannara.com.
All right, so Texas, who came into the SEC tournament on the outside looking in, has won 2 games now, both Q1, both quality quad 1 wins. Double overtime in a fantastic game, 94-89 over rival Texas A&M yesterday. Tyler cut 10. This is Rodney Terry after the game on his team now being projected on the right side of the bubble in the NCAA tournament. Here's Rodney Terry.
I think so much about this time of year is about how you're playing. Do you pass the eye test? Or your team that can go into the tournament and make some noise and get things done? Do you have star power? We have star power. We're playing well. We have our team that we anticipated having play for us right now, and we're playing good basketball. So I think all that matters down the stretch. We're going to play a really good Final Four, Elite Eight caliber team tomorrow, and Coach Barnes. Well-coached team, physical team. You know, you just have to be excited about playing this time of year, but I think we're playing as well as we played all season long, and we're as healthy as we've been all season.
Health is a big story here, where they haven't been totally this team on the floor all year long.
Look, and they do have star power, and it starts with Trey Johnson. He goes for 20 yesterday. They had 6 Longhorns in double figures. Look, that's just a big-time win. You know, a rested Texas A&M team that is, you know, one of the best in all of basketball on the boards. For them to win that game in double overtime, I think this is going to be a first. I think they're going to get in. I don't think they're going to win today, but I think they're going to get in now. There feels like that a little bit of buzz behind it. Do you guys think that anybody has ever gotten an at-large that was 6 games below 500 in their conference play?
Probably not.
Well, I mean, Oklahoma's hoping to do it as well, right? Don't they have 12 losses?
Do they have 12? Let me check that. I thought Oklahoma was maybe 11.
Real quick, and I'm not sure Gus Fring's voice is going to make it one more game. I mean, he was almost done. Right
That's where I get my tone low angle from him.
After that win yesterday, the 6 p.m. update, which is the most recent Lenardi update, had moved Texas and North Carolina, who beat Wake, into the last 4 in. So that gets them to Dayton, according to Joe Lenardi.
But does today, do you think it affects them? Because North Carolina's playing Duke.
Nope.
Duke's going to win that game, even without Cooper Flagg, who I know we'll get to in a little bit. And I think Texas is going to lose today. And I just wonder how much that affects them. You're right, though. Oklahoma both 6 and 12. So you're going to have probably for the first time not 1 but 2 teams.
Yeah, he doesn't even have Oklahoma. Lenardi doesn't playing. He doesn't have them as the last 4 in or the last 4 buys. He's got Oklahoma actually in the tournament.
Yeah, as a 10.
As a 10. So I don't think it affects Texas today, Lance, because, well, let me just say this. I'm going by Lenardi here. This is what the selection committee was looking at, right? If this was their actual layout, you got to look at who's behind them, too. Like, if Texas plays a Tennessee team, that helps their strength of schedule. It's another quad 1 game. Yes, it is a loss. But right now, Lenardi has Indiana behind them, out. Ohio State behind them, out. Boise State behind them, still playing. Colorado State. So there's no teams that are going to jump them, at least in this bracket right here. So I think Texas is okay now. I mean, they're going to be one of those, though, that you're watching. You know, when they start popping up those Dayton games, you're going to see if you see a Longhorn in there.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that is happening is that there's not, for the big conferences, not a lot of big bid stealers happening out there, because you've got not chalk, but all tournament-like teams in the Big 12, the ACC. There are 4 teams left with North Carolina right there. They're on the right side of the bubble. They're all tournament teams. The Big East, all the teams still playing are tournament teams. The one that if you're the last team in, the one you need to be watching is you don't want Andy Kennedy, when they start today, you don't want them to get hot. You want Memphis to win that league, because Memphis is in the tournament.
It's a bid stealer.
Yeah, if anybody else wins the American, if Andy wins it for UAB or somebody else wins it down in the American.
I've got a feeling that Memphis is going to win that, but you're dead on. It would be a 2-bid league at that point.
And when you're Texas and North Carolina right now, Brown, you don't need a lot of bid stealers that could bump you down. 1 or 2 could put you on the wrong side of the bubble.
There's no doubt.
My question is, can the SEC really get – they've only got 16 teams in the league. Can they really get all 14 of these teams in? Greg Sankey seemed to think so yesterday. Greg Sankey sent out a tweet yesterday. He has been fantastic on Twitter lately. He sent out just a big,
not grouchy, Greg,
just a big blue number 14, and with a little note beside it that said 14 different SEC teams have been ranked in the AP Top 25 rankings this year. and he says 14 all of a sudden is a very interesting number for us on selection weekend.
We'll start calling Greg Montgomery Burns. Just more greed. Hey, we got to get more. 13 ain't enough, man. We got to have 14.
I am willing to say, and we probably said this same thing when the Big East got 11 in back in 2011. We couldn't foresee what conference expansion was going to give us, right, at that time. I'm willing to say that this will be the biggest number.
Oh,
well,
I don't think
ever.
Wait, just go percentage of teams. I don't know if the ACC ever got when they were 9 or 10, 11, if they got 9 of 11 in or 7 of 9 in. So there may be a bigger percentage. But when you got 16 and you get 14 in.
I mean, that's 7 of 8.
Yeah, that's an amazing set.
You can't really do any better than that. There is no way mathematically, ask Carl Ravitch, who was courtside again last night, like it would be impossible. Now, I would have told you before the season if you would have been like, there's going to be multiple teams 6 games under they're going to get in. I would have said there's no chance.
Yeah. Hard to imagine. You're 6-12 in the league.
Let me give the addendum when this eventually does happen and people blow back on this one. That's unless we start expanding the tournament. Now, once we start expanding the tournament, I don't know what's going to happen. But for a 68 or less team field, I think 13 will be the biggest number ever, and that's where the SEC is almost guaranteed right now, 13. And if they get 14, I don't think it'll ever be touched.
I do have this feeling, though, like SEC might end up winning it all like Big East did in 2011. But the Big East was a complete dud that year. Well, and it just seems like when you get all these teams and the focus is on one conference, it doesn't live up to the hype.
And I was about to ask you that, LT, because, okay, but Texas is one of the last teams in. They are expected to lose.
No,
when they get there,
I get that, but
it will count as a loss for the SEC, and that will be a story point. Well, the SEC, opening weekend, they only went, 6 and 8 on the opening weekend.
But let me ask you this:
how did they get all those bids? They're 6 and 8.
It's not necessarily about the battle; it's about winning the war, and that's what UConn did in 2011. But of those 11 teams from the Big East, we've talked about it. Only one team in UConn got past the Sweet 16. Let's hypothetically say of 14 teams, 2 go to the Final Four, 1 wins a national championship, but those are the only 2 that get past Sweet 16.
Yeah, but
do you view it as winning the war? As long as the SEC wins this thing?
As long as the SEC is national champions, it starts there. You need to win the national championship. Then I would say of the 8, Elite 8, you need to have at least 2.
Yeah.
And then I would say of the Sweet 16, you need at least 4.
Wow. Even if you win the national championship, are you saying if you don't win the national championship?
No, it's national championship.
And then all those things you
need
just
to
said.
have 2 of the Elite 8, 4 of the 16.
Yeah.
I mean, I think most people would think that's going to happen.
6 of the 32 or 8 of the 32. I think that's what we expect. You're the greatest conference of all time.
To your point, real quick, if you just get past all the high seed SEC teams and you just go by what Lenardi's got, to your point on these games, Dunaway, Missouri, Utah State in a 7-10. I mean, those are toss-up games, right?
Right.
St. Mary's Vandy. You love this St. Mary's team. St. Mary's Vandy in a 7-10.
Yeah. Alabama's slated to play Arkansas at one point last night in the second round.
That's what he's got. Arkansas, Louisville. By the way, in Lexington. Louisville is a 7 seed in Lexington.
Yeah, but John Calipari's back at Rupp Arena.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Those are big brands, too.
Yeah.
But you know who Kentucky fans are cheering for? They're cheering for Arkansas and Calipari because you know who they hate more than Calipari? They hate Louisville more.
Yes.
Are we sure it would go like that?
What do you mean?
As far as cheering? They do not cheer for Louisville over there.
Okay.
You've lived it, right?
Yeah.
Let's analogize with football, okay? If Nick Saban left Alabama and went
back to LSU,
and LSU was playing Auburn.
Bad analogy because Saban was beloved when he left Alabama. I don't know how you analogize this. Yeah, it's tough because Calipari.
Bill Curry, when he left Alabama, he went to Kentucky. Kentucky and Auburn with Bill Curry as the coach, and Auburn with Pat Dye as the coach. They're playing for the SEC championship. Alabama fans
they'd probably go Kentucky.
They'd be cheering for Kentucky.
And then they would say, of course, now he beats Auburn.
Yeah.
That's what they would have said.
But, he was so indifferent. Like, I don't think any Alabama fans really liked Bill Curry.
By the end, I don't know how many Calipari fans there were left in
If I was a Kentucky Kentucky fan, I probably just wouldn't watch the game.
Yeah, my point is, those are all you're going to have a bunch of SEC teams in 8-9s and 7-10s, and those are toss-up games. Now, if they lose all of them, I mean, that's going to start to – but I do think we've got to be a little smarter about this. Like, to your point, when Texas limps in and has to go through Dayton –
They're supposed to lose.
Yeah. Whoever they play in that next game is going to be not a much better team, but a better team.
That's right. They're playing an equal team in Dayton, and then they're playing a team that's better than them.
That's
and
right.
Pull an upset to make it out of the first round. Show being brought to you by two great sponsors. One of them, our friends, Dr. B, that has LT's hair looking chef kiss right now.
Dr.
Why you wear a hat anymore? I have no idea.
I'm flying the flag for TNR.
That's right.
People are like, "Is that TNA?" No, it's TNR.
TNR.
What's TNR?
Oh, I'm glad you.
Let me tell you about it.
It's a lot like TNA.
Yeah, look,
brings you the same enjoyment.
You start thinning out, whether you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, whenever it happens. It started to happen to me 3.5 years ago when we started this venture, and I asked around. Dr. Beckstein is the name everyone mentioned. I called that great staff, 205-319-0316, went to see him. My hair is more than doubled in thickness. I do that non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. That is it. T3's got that new test, so easy. Painless, affordable, takes 4 seconds to perform. It's going to show which medicines and compounds will specifically work for your hair loss. There are over 10 categories of agents they can use knowing they will work for you. They will custom compound these agents for you in pill topical forms. You pick and choose which agents you want. Men and women ordering Hims, other products online, don't even know if they work. Stop wasting your money and critical time while you're losing hair on treatments that aren't working for you. Go see Dr. B and that great staff. Find out what will work for you. 205-319-0316 or T3hair.net.
And when it comes time to redo the master bath in your home, the kitchen in your home, maybe a master bedroom closet, things like that, you pick A+, our friend Brad Bell. You're going to be able to see more by going to his website, alabamabathremodels.com. That is alabamabathremodels.com for Brad Bell. If you're tired of that outdated bath or shower, well, we were too in our master bathroom, and my wife scoured the internet looking for the right person for the job. She picked Brad. I'm glad she did. His crews, they were on time every day. They were clean. They were courteous. At the end of each day, they would walk us through what they had done that day to make sure we approved it. And it was such a great experience for us. Here is Brad's number. Shoot him a text, see if he can come over and give you a quote. 205-422-1758. That is 205-422-1758. Or just go online, alabamabathremodels.com.
All right, so Alabama tonight, Auburn today first. Auburn could go into an elite group of teams if they were to win this SEC tournament. Alabama's already in this group, by the way.
Wow.
Since we started this tournament back in 1979, there was a long period of time there was no SEC basketball tournament. We started back in 1979. Only Kentucky, of course, Florida has done it, and Alabama has done it. Auburn can become only the 4th SEC team ever to win the regular season and the SEC tournament championship. Auburn's yet to do it.
Okay.
Alabama's done it. Kentucky's done it. Florida's done it. Auburn can become the 4th team to be in the same year to be SEC regular season champion and SEC tournament. Not just one time.
Not the 4th time, but the 4th team that has accomplished both.
That's right.
Gotcha.
The 4th time. But the 4th school to do that, right?
So,
Kentucky's done it multiple
times.
So
Bruce has won 2 regular season championships, 2018, correct me if I'm wrong, in 2022. In both of those regular season championship years, they were one and done in Nashville, for whatever that means.
It's surprising is what it –
yeah.
I mean, I don't know what it means, but I do know that it's surprising.
Well, I didn't think Auburn fans would be that beat up. Like, if you come up here, obviously you want your team to show out and you'd like to win a championship. But, talking to our buddy Richard, who is an Auburn fan last night, he was like, man, I think this is the best matchup. That's the best matchup. So Auburn obviously wants to win this championship.
Well, they're looking for some momentum, obviously, after losing the last 2 games of the regular season.
For the first time all season.
That's right. And then, I was here last year when they won it all, when they cut down the nets. It's a championship. They won a championship. There was confetti. They cut down nets. There was a party afterwards while they watched the selection show. Now, it ended up doing them no good because they lost in the first round. But there is something about winning this thing. And I know Nate Oates thinks it's important too. Alabama is trying to win this for the 3rd time under Nate Oates. He's already won it twice. He's trying to be the SEC tournament champion 3 times for the 3rd time in his 5 years. So for both of these coaches, no matter what Calipari says or anyone else, both these coaches sort of value winning this tournament, this championship. Well, and there's a little bragging rights going on. Did you hear the Nate Oates bite I played yesterday? He's like, since I got here, we have the most SEC combined SEC regular season and tournament championships in the league.
Right.
Since I got here.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Since Bruce Pearl got there, Auburn's got the most SEC regular season and SEC tournament champions. So, different time frames.
We're talking different time spreads.
But both these guys brought it up on the podium this week coming up here that we've got the most championships since I've been here. I've got the most championships since I've been here.
Yeah, it's interesting to see, I would say on the ends of the spectrum on how seriously you take the SEC tournament. I think we've got John Calipari over here and Wimp Sanderson over here. Wimp has told us a lot, and I think I can't remember how many SEC tournaments he won. It was a lot. He put a tremendous amount of emphasis on this. He wanted his team to be playing best in the SEC tournament. I guess Wimp's thinking maybe explain this to us as the momentum going to the NCAA tournament. Don't know that. Wimp never made it past the Sweet 16, so the evidence would tell you that probably was not an accurate representation.
Here's what I read into it with all of the data that these coaches like to spew when they get up on the podium talking about these championships. Look, back when Wimp was doing it, recruiting, bagmen, all that kind of stuff. There were some crazy recruiting battles, but where you are right now in this SEC with potentially 14 teams going to the tournament, recruiting has never been at this level. And the unknowns with NIL and the valuation coming up July 1st and just everything going on right now, any one little edge you can get over any other team matters.
Yeah, that's right. And there's only 4 times during the course of the year that the school photographer can take pictures of you holding a trophy.
Yep.
And that's the SEC regular season. And, there's the SEC tournament. There's going to the Final Four. You get to be the regional
champion.
And then you're national champions. And that's it. So it's for a trophy. Michelson Laser Vision viewing menu here brought to you by our friends at Michelson. Tyler's got what he's watching tonight, which includes hopefully a lot of basketball for you folks out there. Tell us about Michelson.
Yeah, 205-969-8100. That is the number you need to call. And make sure you ask for Amy Toer the next round. Cynthia, she's going to hook you up with that hassle-free consultation. You have 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. 205-969-8100. I've got the 2015 vision, better than 2020. Used to wear the glasses, contacts, wasted money each and every year. Don't do it. 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
All right, we got a new release on Netflix this weekend. It's directed by the Russo brothers, who did Avengers Endgame, one of the most successful movies of all time, and it's called The Electric State. It's about an orphan teen hitting the road with a mysterious robot to find her long-lost brother, teaming up with a smuggler and his wisecracking sidekick. It stars Millie Bobby Brown, Chris Pratt, and Woody Harrelson voicing Mr. Peanut.
So, Billy Bobby Brown is not really her name, Tyler.
Yeah, we learned that
I
at
saw
trivia.
that. It's a Millie Bonnie Brown, I think.
Wow, look at Tyler. Look at Jeeves.
Jeeves.
I got to get it past Jeeves.
Yeah, really.
Yep.
Freaking backstop.
Yeah, Planners has been doing a bunch of special spots for this movie, showing off the CGI Mr. Peanut. It's very disturbing. Definitely go look it up during the break. It is very odd looking. Also, if you don't want to watch that, you can go to the IFC channel at 6 p.m. and watch Blazing Saddles, and then immediately after, Caddyshack comes on. So you got 2 great comedy movies back to back. And then last night,
Mel Brooks, such a controversial movie back in the 70s. Don't think they could make it today. Mel Brooks, Larry David, kind of the modern day Mel Brooks. Caddyshack as a kid I loved. I know golfers still like it.
Still love it.
Yeah, I think it's good. I don't think it's great.
Yeah. I just think there's so many funny takeaway lines from it. I've always loved Caddyshack.
Yeah, me too. And takeaway lines and moments from Blazing Saddles as well. That's what Tyler's watching, man, this weekend, brought to you again by our friends at Michelson.
205-969-8100. As for Amy Toe, the next round, Cynthia, they are going to hook you up with that free consultation. 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
We've got these pickled jalapenos here from Tennessee Shine Company, part of our friends at Kickin' It Coolers.
I'm a big jalapeno guy. That's about as hot as I want, but I love them.
Me too.
But those are cut so well. Those jalapenos just look delicious.
They really do.
I was asking before the show, if I finish that bottle off by noon, do you think my weekend is done?
I think you may be done. Not only your weekend, maybe your life.
Do you think it's worse on the Scoville, the units there, or do you think more so with the moonshine?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Oh, that's pickled in moonshine?
Yeah.
Yo, that's it.
Oh, my God. I was about to.
Moonshine jalapeno.
No, what they
Oh,
do.
I thought that was just the flavor of the pickling
you
stuff.
eat 7 of those is equivalent to 1 shot of moonshine. Seven jalapenos.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm guessing. What do you think's in there?
It says corn whiskey with natural flavors. What do you mean? What's in there?
How many? 100?
Oh, how many?
Oh, my
jalapenos?
goodness.
I have no idea, Lance.
Yeah, I would say 100 roughly.
I mean,
that's probably 12 shots.
I was going to take this home and put them on my nachos or something.
Why you still do that?
I would have got
Oh,
it
you
sideways.
Oh, you can.
I know, but I put more than 7 on my nachos. I'd have been like, "Ooh, these nachos are not sitting well with me." That's fantastic. I did not know they would get you into a space mentally. All right, when we come back, we're at the historic cellar here. It's a new look right here in a historic district of Nashville. Perfect for your tailgating. If you're not by here today, come by here this weekend for the SEC tournament. But anytime you're in Nashville, this is a great hangout place, the Cellar. And we're here with our friends at Kicking It Cooler. Another hour coming up. No Furman this week because Furman is a little under the weather. We apologize. He'll be back with us next week for March Madness. This is the next round being brought to you today by our friends at Vulcan Tire and Automotive on the road at the SEC tournament. Back in a moment.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
If you are a business that does a lot of printing, like a car dealership, mortgage company, real estate office, tax office, bank, school, or university, print more and spend less with ImageCraft. ImageCraft is located at 1151 Gadsden Highway in Trussville, just down from the Pinnacle Shopping Center, and online at imagecraft.net. They carry all the major brands like HP, Brother, Canon, Dell, Lexmark, Konica Minolta, Kyocera, Ricoh, Sharp, and Xerox. Shop in-store, mention TNR for a 10% discount. Shop online at imagecraft.net with coupon code TNR10. ImageCraft. Print more, spend less.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
What a great time of year to be online with our friends at mybookie.ag, mybookie.ag, where right now you get a major current sign-up bonus, a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000, plus a $10 casino chip when using the code NEXTROUND. That's code NEXTROUND. We're talking about all the madness of March, the NBA playoff race, the start of Major League Baseball, and it's all for you right now online when using the code NEXTROUND. Go sign up today, mybookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
SEC in play for 14 NCAA tournament bids. 11's the record from the Big East. No way the SEC doesn't break the record. The question now is it 13 or 14 for the SEC? That is the backdrop of another day of the SEC tournament here in Nashville as we continue our coverage up here, brought to you by a lot of our great folks. Vulcan Tire and Automotive, one of them that's getting you ready for the Auburn tip coming up at the 12 noon hour here in Nashville.
Yeah, I'm getting texts from a lot of different people that are coming up right now. They're heading up from the Birmingham area, wherever you are, wherever you're driving over the next couple of weeks, months, spring break, March Madness basketball. Make sure your vehicle is ready bumper to bumper. Our friends at Vulcan Tire and Automotive, they can handle any of these issues. You mentioned the next round. They will guarantee you the best tire pricing in all of Birmingham locations throughout Birmingham. And you also get 15% off when you mention the next round on any and all mechanical for any of your vehicles out there. For more information, VulcanTireandAuto.com.
Do you think ticket price, when will the next round be that will match the ticket price you'll see today and this weekend in Nashville?
Because you've got Auburn travels well and their big alumni base here in Nashville. You got Tennessee in that session, and then you've got Kentucky in the night session, which is a thing all their own.
An easy drive.
No first round. Okay, give me the second round destinations.
Atlanta.
But Atlanta's going to be at State Farm this year, right?
That is correct.
Yeah. That makes it so much better.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of want to actually go over
So
that.
it'll be at State Farm and for the regional final.
Yep. Yeah. You doubt me?
Oh, I don't doubt you. I
don't think
I doubt the choice.
Have they ever played basketball in Mercedes-Benz?
That's just it. If they're going to host a Final Four, they usually like to stage it and do it
Final Four,
there.
though, regional final, I wouldn't do it as big. I don't think they've ever
Well, they normally do that to do a dry run for a Final Four.
They
show
used
can
to do
handle it.
that.
Yeah.
I don't think since the pandemic, now that you bring it up, we've played the regional final in the Dome Football Stadium.
Okay, so Atlanta, okay, keep going.
Well, Atlanta's going to have maybe Auburn in it, which would make that a very hot ticket. Newark, which right now would probably have Duke in it. Indianapolis and San Francisco. That's San Francisco. I mean, that's going to be – there's no West Coast teams that are going to be – I mean, what's the highest-seeded West Coast team? And all these teams
let me say
San
this.
Francisco.
If Tennessee ended up in Atlanta, and I don't know if that's a possibility, Tennessee's never been to a Final Four. They would flock that place.
Yeah,
I don't think they will if Auburn's the 1 seed. They got to break a seeding rule if that's the case.
Last I saw –
well, they're going to have to break some of these seeding rules. We already talked about that.
Tennessee's in with Duke often, which would put them heading to Newark. Alabama's in the Midwest with Houston, which would put them going where?
Indianapolis.
I think Tennessee would show out at Indianapolis, too.
Yeah, I do. I think Alabama fans would travel, okay to Indianapolis.
And the only reason I'm bringing up Tennessee is because Alabama and Auburn in the last 7 years have both gone to their first Final Fours. There is something about that, and I think that would make it a bigger ticket.
I was amazed at, didn't surprise me with Auburn's passion with Bruce Pearl, who showed up in Minneapolis for the Final Four. But last year out in the desert for Alabama, great crowd turned out there. So the deeper you go in, the crowds will get better. It's an amazing day here at the SEC tournament. 12 noon for Auburn and Ole Miss. Final game of the day is Alabama-Kentucky. In between that, you get Texas and Tennessee, and you get Missouri and Florida. 4 more games today, and we'll get it down to the semifinals tomorrow. Part of the show as we jump back into previewing Auburn and Ole Miss, being brought to you by our friends at ImageCraft Browning.
ImageCraft.net is the website you can go to and see everything I'm about to tell you about. But listen, they want you to print more and spend less, and they know how expensive printing supplies can be, ink, toner, things like that. So they make it easy for you to save with ImageCraft, and they carry all the major brands there. You can see more at imagecraft.net, but basically, if you're a business that does a lot of printing, like a school, a pharmacy, automotive dealership, tax office, things like that, ImageCraft can help you save. So save in the store right there on Gadsden Highway, just down from the Pinnacle Shopping Center in Trussville. Just tell them you heard it on the next round. You'll get 10% off your order. Or save online at imagecraft.net. Code TNR10. TNR10 at checkout helps you save 10% there at imagecraft.net. Print more, spend less with our friends at ImageCraft.
4 downs coming up momentarily, but as we preview Auburn and Ole Miss coming up, Janai Broome, who, by the way, he and Tahad Pettiford and Miles Kelly hanging out last night for the end of the early game, Missouri-Mississippi State, and then they stayed and watched most of the Kentucky game till into the second half before they went back to their hotel. So, instead of sitting in the hotel watching it on television, they walked down the street and watched it in living color there from some floor side seats. So that's where they were last night. But Janai Broome, cut to Tyler, gets asked about the mindset of this Auburn team after those losses at Texas A&M and at home to Alabama as they come here to Nashville. Here's Janai.
Janai, you said after the game Saturday that your guys' mindset is to go up to Nashville and win this tournament and win 3 in a row. Just, you feel like the rest of the team's kind of bought into that as well?
For sure. You could tell if you had our practices the last couple of days how locked in we've been, how guys are putting in the extra effort. Guys are itching to get the extra rep. Guys are itching to be on the court. They want to play longer. Coach want to get into practice a little early, but we want to keep going, just because, we feel like we have something to prove again. We kind of let some things, we let 2 games go, so we kind of let up a little bit, but I think that kind of just fired us right back to give us that edge that we had all season long.
Anybody worried about Auburn?
No, well, go ahead, bro.
Well, I was just going to say, Lance, my concern with Auburn, and it's not an Auburn-related concern, and I've mentioned this before back when they were playing well, it's a college basketball concern. It is really, really difficult to play elite-level basketball for as long as the college basketball season lasts. And the only time it really matters, as long as you make the tournament, that you're playing elite level is when you get in the tournament because it's what you're playing for. Auburn has played elite-level basketball pretty much all year, except you could argue, and I don't know that they played, Stephen Pearl even said this on the show the other day. I don't think they played well against Texas A&M. He said, and Bruce, I think, has said the same thing. We played well against Alabama. They just played better. So I don't know that I don't think they played a bad game against Alabama. I think Alabama was just about as good as they've been all year in that game.
Well, for Auburn to be number 1 for 7 consecutive weeks in this conference with that schedule,
yeah.
that's a testament to itself. At A&M, that's a quality loss if you call it that. But I do agree with what Bruce said. They played okay against A&M. They played really good against Alabama. The one thing I would take out of that game is if you were worried about Janai Broome, who had gone single digits in back-to-back games against Kentucky and A&M, 43 minutes, 34 points. Like, there's no questions coming out of that game that maybe the best player in college basketball is almost or as close to 100% as he was before the ankle injury.
That's what I was going to say. I didn't see him limping.
No, not at all.
Yep.
So I think there is a positive there, and I think Auburn will play with a chip on their shoulder because first time they've lost back-to-back games this season. They don't want to – I'll tell you this will be about as sharp as they play today because they don't want to lose 3 consecutive games.
No, and that is the one thing you don't want to do is limp into the NCAA tournament. Now, as I say that, I will point out nobody limped in worse than Alabama last year. Alabama got blasted in Gainesville, had to fight for their life against Arkansas, not a good Arkansas team, to win a game. I think that went to overtime, if memory serves, in the final regular season game. Came here, got beat pretty badly by Florida again, and then they go to the Final Four. So I think, a lot of times, and this is one reason.
2 games away from being the first team to ever win a national championship.
That's right, by doing
losing first conference game.
Yeah, so I think a lot of times we overvalue how hot you are coming out of your conference tournament or coming out of your regular season going to the NCAA tournament. It's just a weird event, Jim, that it just there's a lot of times there's just a flip by teams. They haven't done anything hardly all year. They get in that tournament and something clicks, you know?
When it becomes one and done, your season is over with.
Different
when
mindset.
You lose. Now, let's talk Alabama as they come up here. Cut number 4. Before we get to that, the show being brought to you in part by our friends at Odie's. Tell us about Odie's, LT.
Hey, this weekend, well, a couple of things to tell you about. If you like live music tonight, tomorrow night, both locations, the original Crestline, the Edgewood location as well. We're going to be at that Edgewood location 4 to 6 Selection Sunday. We're going to be setting up the brackets. We're going to, as they roll out live, we're going to be breaking them down. So come join us. Things will open up at 11 o'clock there at Odie's. They'll be getting ready for the SEC championship game on Sunday. So make sure you drop by Odie's all weekend long. Again, live music tonight, live music tomorrow night. Great food from Rodney Davis for the last 35 years, including the award-winning wings, delicious burgers, great sandwiches, ice-cold beer buckets, full of the Bud Light. For more information, just stop into one of those 2 locations. Go see Will Haver and that great staff. It's Odie's Tavern.
And our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Guys, stay on top of your health as you move from your 20s to your 30s, 30s to 40s, into 50s, and so on. The doctors at Urology Centers of Alabama are standing by to help you. 16 wonderful locations. Find the one near you. Go online to urologycentersalabama.com, urologycentersalabama.com, and they'll take care of you. All right, Tyler, cut number 4 for Alabama. They're coming off maybe their their biggest win of their season by beating Auburn down in Neville Arena. And they won a handful of games in a tough 7-game stretch. And for Nate Oates, he puts great value in this SEC basketball tournament. Just ask Mo Diabate.
How much emphasis is there from Oates and then the team on winning this thing in Nashville, or is that something you're even thinking about?
Oates is a winner, so he try to win every game he play. Despite the team or the competition, and we try to. We're competitors, so we try to win every game we can, and we're coming into this tournament to win the tournament. And even if it's going to take some load on our bodies, but we just trying to win it all.
Wait, Mo calling him Oates.
Yeah.
Bobby Knight was choking out regular students for calling him Knight. You remember that back in the day?
Yeah, in the salad bar line.
Yeah. So does Alabama get deeper today with Darian Reed? A guy that didn't put up big numbers, but a former McDonald's All-American, a guy that plays really good defense, hasn't played since February 15th.
He was questionable last night on the injury report. Questionable, though, is not out.
That's right.
I mean, are you hearing he's going to play? I've heard they're leaning. He's ready to go.
Limited minutes if he gets in there because they'd like to have him
for the tournament,
for the NCAA tournament.
You want to get those legs under him again. So, get him 15 to 20 minutes if you possibly can, or 10 to 15 minutes, I should say.
Yep. I think it would be closer to 5 to 7 minutes if he plays today.
So Alabama swept the regular season. We went back, and somebody brought up, our buddy Steve Sykes sent us 1986. Kentucky won all 4 matchups. Alabama won the 2 matchups by an average score of 99-90. But you brought up Amore Williams, a big 7-footer for Kentucky. And Amore, the way he played the last time out offensively, you don't necessarily need that if you're Alabama. You'd love to have it, just as kind of a compliment. It's almost like supplemental points you're getting from that guy. But that is going to be a battle in the paint to really watch today.
And I want to tell you, first of all, tremendously nice guy, because I had a chance to talk to Williams last night in the locker room.
The kid that doesn't know anything about Waffle House.
Yeah, he looked surprised when I asked him about Waffle House. But so I'm talking to him. So I asked him about Alabama. And if you don't think losing 2 to these guys, and you can go see this at Next Round Live, part of our Vulcan Tire and Automotive coverage up here. You can go and take a look at the locker room sound. But I asked him about Alabama. What do you think of Alabama getting to play him a 3rd time? And he started naming players.
Right.
He started saying, well, Sears is so good at getting the basket and hard not to foul him. He draws the foul. Grant's a competitor. Or Cliff, called him Cliff. Cliff can do this and that. He was calling them by their names. And I said, dude, you've got to scout down. You know their names. He goes, well, we played them a couple of weeks ago, and I remember their names.
But what's crazy is, you'll talk to coaches. We'll have them on, and they'll be like, man, 44 can really get
That's
after
right.
it.
That's funny, isn't it?
Yeah, unless it's like a standout All-American. Everybody knows Mark Sears. But for him to be able to identify other role players, that's pretty crazy.
Nelson, Cliff, and he's calling them out by name.
I want to say something about the guy we played the soundbite from there, Mo Diabate. And I know he's not alone in this. It just gets pointed out a lot. He's
Milwaukee's doing this too for Oklahoma.
Right,
they lost last night.
He's observing Ramadan, which is part of his faith, and If you're not familiar with that, it is, you fast during the daylight hours, sun up to sundown.
Not even water.
No water, no food, no anything, which, by the way, as it pertains to basketball, having a late night tip will help him because, he'll be able, sunsets here probably 7-ish tonight. I can't remember what time it set last night, 7:15.
Would you panic with your blood sugar if you were going?
Yeah, I mean,
I've talked to the training staff because this started on March 1.
Right, and it goes through the entire month of March.
So I talked to the training staff down at Neville Arena before that game. They are waking him up before sunrise a certain amount of time to get a certain amount of fluid and substance into him. So he's waking up, 2 hours, hour and a half before sunrise to consume some stuff.
I totally respect the commitment, conviction, but boy, if you're one of these trainers, you're like, man, I cannot believe
I got to get up. And that's what I was going to say is,
but Wagee had the late games, Brownie. I'm sorry, but he's been battling cramping the whole time. So Diabate battles the same thing. All the athletes that are doing it.
And while I don't share the same religion as he does, I do respect the heck out of that commitment. I mean, that is a tremendous commitment to your religion and your religious principles, and the fact that he sometimes just has to gut up and play through it.
A lot of people, I mean, obviously you would never hear these stories, but I mean, for this guy, like everybody would give him a pass because of what he's doing right now,
Yeah, but it seems like he plays some of his best basketball in this month when he's playing day games, and he probably hadn't had a thing to drink since sunup. I mean, it's pretty wild to think about.
Yeah, it is. So Alabama tonight in the final game, Auburn in the first one. Quick preview there of those games. We've told you the betting lines there from our friends at mybookie.ag around the country. Duke with the injury to Cooper Flagg. If you'll give me cut number 12, John Shire yesterday after the game, updating on the injuries, Tyler. The impact of Flagg being out. What the mindset is, how extensive is the injury. Here is the Duke head coach after they survived yesterday and they get North Carolina today.
I'll just tell you real quick, look, Malik was in a lot of pain, and he redislocated his shoulder. That's why, I'm sure some of you saw it. We got him a stretcher just because to tolerate the pain. And he was in a lot of pain, and he's at the hospital now. We'll figure out how he's doing. I'm going to try to figure out if I can go see him right now. And Cooper, he just came down, sprained his ankle. X-rays were negative, which is great. We just have to understand there's going to be swelling and to see how he recovers and how he goes from there.
Yeah, so they had one on a stretcher and one in a wheelchair yesterday. I mean, that is about as bad as it's going to get in a conference tournament game against a team you were a 3-touchdown favorite over.
Yeah, Brown's interesting because, he's not a guy that's going to score the basketball a lot, but he's in your top 8-9 rotation of guys, so he does provide depth there. Cooper Flagg is obviously, you can't win a championship without this guy. Now they're going to take on North Carolina, who's still a desperate team today because I know Lenardi's saying they're in, right? Didn't you say?
Barely.
In
Dayton, I think
barely.
He had him in Dayton.
Let me ask you this. I know you guys said the outcome doesn't necessarily matter, but they really haven't been super competitive in these two regular season games. They lost by 17. They lost by 12. If they were to get blown out here without Cooper Flagg.
Do you remember offhand the two?
Do you think that affects?
If Carolina gets blown out?
If Carolina got blown out by Duke without Cooper Kupp, I think that could be a problem. And I'll go on to
Cooper Kupp or Cooper Kupp either.
Yeah, I can't get him out of my head.
Going to the Cowboys, by the way.
I count Cooper Kupps when I can't sleep.
Going to the Cowboys. You're going to be a Cowboys fan now.
Who's Arch Manning's dad? Cooper Kupp?
Cooper Kupp. Yeah, we'll roll with that. But
your favorite tire?
I know I was 2-15 yesterday, but I do have Duke. I was going to give you a free winner. I'm laying the points today with Duke without Cooper Kupp.
That's what I was about to ask you. Can you remember the point spread? The one in Chapel Hill was really surprising to me. Do you remember what it was?
Yeah, it was 10.5.
All right, so Duke on the road at Chapel Hill.
In Cameron, it was 12, and then I think Chapel Hill was 10.
So to show you the impact of the injury, on the road in Chapel Hill, Duke was a 12-point favorite. Today, they're a 7-point favorite.
Yeah. Wow.
And that shows you, doesn't it, the impact of at least on the point spread of the Cooper Flagg injury there.
And they're not used to the rotation without him yet. But I will tell you, as I read everyone who covers basketball who knows the game better than me, they say the biggest impact will be on the defensive side of the floor because even when Cooper Flagg comes back, if he's limited at all like Janai Broome was, and that's the comparison I'm going with on these high ankle sprain injuries. We saw it happen with Janai Broome. Flagg is a defender against all 5 positions. He can defend all 5 positions. He's big enough to defend the 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. But if he's limited at all, you can't defend the 1. You can't defend the 2. You can't defend the 3.
This is the first thing I thought about yesterday when he went down. We're sitting there watching him, just rolling around in pain and getting carried off, was the Janai Broome. We referenced that. And look, Broome in his own right might end up being player of the year. I mean, these are obviously the 2 best players right now in college basketball. But the way Broome plays the game is so different than Flagg. Like, if you've watched Flagg, the way he puts it on the deck, he'll take it to the rack. You're right. He can guard 5 positions. I mean, he's a lot more, I hate to say active on that ankle, but there's a different type of movement on his ankle than there is with Janai Broome.
That's right.
So, like, I don't think there's any chance, obviously, we see him today. I'm going to be surprised again if we see him this weekend.
If you're the selection committee, no matter what Duke does in this tournament, you cannot judge them the same way as you did before that injury yesterday with Cooper Flagg. You just can't do it. So just that little difference locks Auburn in as the number 1 overall seed.
Wow.
Win, lose, or draw today against Ole Miss, they're the number 1 overall seed. They should have been anyway, but Flagg, he's going to be limited. It was 2 games for Janai Broome, but it took him forever to not limp. If he doesn't play today, Flagg doesn't, and he won't. They're worried about getting him ready for next week. Shire had said that later on last night. They're trying to get him ready for Game 2 in the NCAA tournament, really.
Yeah.
And that's about a week and a half. That's what Janai missed, and then he came back and he tried to hobble through it against Tennessee, and he played on since then. That's what Cooper will try to do. But there were nights Janai was hurt, including that game you keep bringing up in Tuscaloosa where he had to take a break.
Yeah, he had to ask out of the game and had his shoe off on the sideline. I mean, that looked like he had completely 100% re-aggravated that injury. He came back in the game, so he's fine. Auburn is a 12.5-point favorite in that game at mybookie.ag that Jim was just referencing. I told you Duke, a 7-point favorite in their game. Another probable number 1 seed is Houston. They are a 7-point favorite as they take on BYU today. Florida, 9.5-point favorite tonight against Missouri. I skipped Tennessee for some reason. No issue there, Vols fans. I'll go back. Tennessee, a 10-point favorite as they take on Texas. And Alabama, late night tonight, as they take on the Kentucky Wildcats, a 7-point favorite here in Nashville. You can play all of those games at mybookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on at mybookie.ag. And that code is going to get you a sign-on bonus in the sportsbook area of 50% up to $1,000. So a 50% sign-on bonus up to $1,000 in the sportsbook. And they're going to give you a $10 casino chip. So you're going to get the bonus and the casino chip when you use code NEXTROUND at mybookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. Mybookie.ag, code NEXTROUND. That is mybookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
Tyler, if you'll get 4 downs ready here, I will let our man Richard know. Next segment, Richard, we're going to need cocktails because we've got an amazing story.
He's already pouring them.
We got an amazing story that LT will have a unique comments on involving Bill Belichick that's out there. That's coming up in the next segment. Only Archie Bunker back in the 70s and Lance Taylor can have an opinion like we're about to get about Bill Belichick coming up.
Carol O'Connor was so good in that role. Can you imagine? You can't reboot it because unless they froze him somewhere. But boy, I would love to see him in a Netflix reboot or an HBO reboot today.
It's Family Guy. That's the animated version of it.
Yeah,
they say they get away with some of the stuff that Archie Bunker
now he would have been a great walk-on for Curb with Larry David.
Would have been really good. All right, Bojangles brings us 4 down. LT has 4 downs for us today. Tell us about our friends at Bojangles.
Great place to go at lunch to get those. They're not called nuggets.
They're not nuggets.
They're Bo Bites.
They're Bo Bites.
They're Bo Bites. You get that peach honey pepper dipping sauce, the ranch as well there. I mean, you just got to pick one of the two, and that may be the hardest part. I'd suggest asking for both, but whatever. You do it however you want when you go to Bojangles. Local Bojangles near you. Just don't call them nuggets. They are Bo Bites. Go by and grab some for lunch today. It's Bo time with Bojangles.
First down.
We got some heavy hitters today. Billy Crystal is 77 years old today. If I ask you ultimately better career, Billy Crystal or Billy Bob Thornton?
I'd have to go Billy Crystal.
I enjoy Billy Bob Thornton more.
I do too.
His work.
I do too, but I'll go Billy Crystal.
But I'll go Billy Crystal.
I mean, Billy Crystal and Jeeves, help me out if I'm wrong here, 1 year on SNL, I think. But, I mean, he's done stand-up. He's been in, movies like, When Harry Met Sally to City Slickers.
City Slickers is a very good movie.
I thought so, too.
Monsters, Inc. He's the voice of Mike Wazowski.
Yep.
Wow, so we've had John Goodman and Billy Crystal in the same month in Monsters, Inc. references.
It's amazing the when these big actors do voiceovers, how much that sticks with people. Like, I mean, you never think about it when we start talking about their career until somebody points it out, like Tyler does.
You know, Billy Bob Thornton, one of my favorite films, Sling Blade. Wrote that thing, starred in it back when it was kind of chubby, Billy Bob Thornton.
Yep.
But such a creative guy and just one of the naturally funny guys. I know Billy Crystal was obviously a very funny guy, too. I told Brown this yesterday when I was doing 4 Downs on the way up. Billy Crystal signed a baseball scholarship at Marshall.
Really?
Yeah, isn't that weird?
I knew he loved the sports. It does one-man stage shows and stuff. It's so funny when every time since this one event happened, I think of this one event. When you say Sling Blade, anytime Sling Blade the movie comes up, do you know what one event I go back to?
When we were on the bus watching
when you guys were on the bus going down to the national
Miami?
championship game to Miami, and y'all watched it, and I had FOMO flying from New York and
Oh, you weren't on the bus with us?
No, I had covered an XFL game, I think. And no, that was different. I'd done something. I had to get down to Miami early with TV.
Yeah, you were down TV early, and we came down on Alan Jackson's tour bus from Birmingham to Miami. We had stopped at a truck stop. Our guy had to take a quick stop, the bus driver, and Lance, inside like a Love's truck stop or something like that, or a Pilot Flying J, bought a Sling Blade DVD.
Yeah, and it was like 1 in the morning.
Yeah, it was like 1 in the morning, and we're sitting in the back of Alan Jackson's bus watching Sling Blade on the way to Miami, and it was the first time I'd seen it.
Ryan Haney, Christina Haney, my ex-wife. Boy, I tell you what, the Haneys could pound some beer on that that bus.
That was a fun trip down. Trip home, not so much.
I'm going to agree with you guys.
And I was on the trip home.
That's all right.
Billy Crystal now, Billy Bob might have the opportunity late in the game to take this thing over, though.
Second down.
Steph Curry, 37 years old today. Quincy Jones would have been 92.
Now, was this the Davidson assistant GM, Steph
It
Curry?
is, yeah.
Okay, all right.
And he's helping men's and women's.
Okay, both. All right, all right.
He is 37 today. I don't know how he has time for a birthday. Quincy Jones would have been 92. Better career, Quincy Jones, Steph Curry.
Easy answer. It's Quincy Jones.
I agree.
But Steph Curry did go over 4,000 three-pointers in the NBA last night.
Not 4,000 points from three-pointers.
No, 4,000
made three-pointers. That's insane.
And only James Harden has 3,000.
Yeah.
So that's the difference.
Right.
Or is close to 3,000.
Hey, look, I mean,
that's the greatest three-point shooter of all time.
MVPs. I mean, hey, look, he's one of the greatest to ever play the game. I don't want to discount that, but Quincy Jones, what he did for the music industry,
that's right,
and what he did for some of these artists, and then you see things like The Greatest Night in Pop on Netflix, the documentary about getting everything together for We Are the World. Just an instrumental guy that touched all corners of the world.
Yeah, so Quincy Jones, even for me.
Yeah, I'd probably go Quincy Jones as well.
Third down.
Albert Einstein would have been 146 years old today.
He was so smart, he'd still be alive.
Wow.
Albert Einstein or Bill Gates?
Einstein.
So, what are we, better career?
Yeah, I mean, Einstein's theory of relativity, but I mean, outside of that.
That's a big one. That's a big theory.
But somebody was going to figure this thing out, right?
Yeah, I mean, give me a better theory than the theory of relativity.
I mean, we could debate I don't know. Theory of evolution?
Well, there you go. There's one of those. Yeah. Jeeves, do you have a better theory than the theory of relativity?
Theory of evolution was neither of those. That was Darwin.
I know we know that. We're just asking better theories. Don't try to act smart.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dick.
Einstein's gotten a lot of criticism for stealing ideas and not really adding to it.
You know what?
In a substantial
Jeeves, you might
way.
know this. I read this. I meant to tell Brown yesterday when I was coming up. I didn't want to bore him with the 4 Downs because I already had him listening to Boise State, San Diego State basketball.
Bad announcer.
But Einstein's last words were in German, and the nurse at his bedside didn't speak German, so nobody knows what his last words were. Don't you get somebody bedside that can actually speak the language?
Well, I mean, I would like to know the last thing he said was maybe hey, whatever you guys do, don't.
Yeah.
When you're like, no.
Well, when do you think the theory of relativity happened? What period of time?
I would say this was right around the turn of the 20th century. So I am going to say 1908.
I was going to say a little later than that, 1921.
See, anytime you would have said that, I would have said probably sometime in the 1800s. 1905 to 1915.
Okay.
Right.
Is when it
Right,
was
hit
worked out.
the window.
Wow.
You
So
did.
it took him 10 years to theorize relativity?
To get it to be widely accepted, Brown.
Oh, okay.
There's
theory was there
some
early.
doubters.
Was
in
he
the
on his
world.
soapbox picketing and
Yeah.
I have to tell you.
Yeah. Let's see. Some of the things that we get from that. First of all, GPS. You don't get the theory of relativity without GPS.
Oh, you don't get GPS
Yeah,
without the theory of
yeah.
relativity. Yep.
So is that important to you as I watched you navigate down the streets of Nashville? this morning?
I am ways, like, my daily commute is 10 to 12 minutes. I am ways every time I get in the car. Even that, I still turn Waze on because it tells you where police are. It tells you where wrecks are and things like that. Yeah, I'm 100% Waze.
Yeah.
It's not flawless, though.
It is not flawless, but it's better than nothing.
Yep.
So let me ask you this. You still see these crazy pictures of Einstein. You see movies about him. And we're talking about him. Again, he would have been 146 today. Do you think we'll be talking in 100 years about Bill Gates like this?
Not like this.
Not like this, no.
So there's your
he
answer.
didn't have a good theory.
Yeah. And by the way, allegedly, Jeeves, are you saying that Gates didn't steal or borrow anything or buy anything that wasn't his own idea, and you're throwing stones at Einstein? Not that I'm defending the old guy.
Einstein didn't wear socks. He was like Joe Lee Dunn.
Yeah.
He really did. He didn't wear socks. I learned this about him yesterday.
I thought of Joe Lee Dunn forever.
Let's do fourth down.
Fourth down.
Okay, today, 3/14, National Pie Day. If I ask you your favorite pie and get a little specific, like was there a restaurant or a place that you went to that had the best pie out there?
This is going to be specific, yes, and it is probably going to show my redneck a little bit from Calhoun County. But I tell you what, man, as a kid, that Shoney's strawberry pie was tremendous. Do you ever remember the Shoney's strawberry pie?
I do. I used to think the strawberries were so fresh. I used to think.
I know they felt that way.
And was it more of the compote?
That was part of it. Yeah, that was part of it. But it was all really, really good. I used to love it. The crust was really good.
Auburn fans are in the house.
Well, they got a 12 noon tip. They got a pregame.
Hey, so I don't know if you guys have watched Reacher, but we finished the third season, and so it went straight to the first season again. And one of the first scenes, he's in this diner with a piece of peach pie.
Yeah,
man,
peach pie's good.
Didn't you tell me a
Apple
story
pie.
about pie yesterday at the Irish Deli?
I did.
Yeah, I've never loved pie. I'll go ahead and tell you.
I like pecan pie.
That was a weird flavored pie I was talking about.
like
I've had it.
apple
I've had
pie.
it, but it's weird.
I like chocolate pie. You know, Johnny Ray's, I think it's done. Is it dead and gone?
Oh, Johnny Ray's used to have, I thought, the apex of pies.
They did?
I don't know if there's a Johnny Ray's that's still around, but that meringue they would have on top of it.
The only thing I didn't like was coconut cream. I liked
I'm not a
all
big
the
coconut
other
cream guy. I'm with you.
types,
Yep.
but that.
The meringue, man.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
There's a
All right, that's
Johnny
our
Ray's at
four
the
downs today,
Colonnade.
brought to you by our friends at Bojangles.
Yeah, don't forget you can swing by and get those Bo Bites. They are not nuggets. They're Bo Bites and all those great dipping sauces. That is Bojangles. It's Bo time.
All right, when we come back, we'll do our football spotlight, a story, if you have not heard it yet, about Bill Belichick that you will want to hear. Maybe we'll get another iconic moment in sports up here in Nashville from Alabama or Auburn. Our friend Daniel A. Moore is standing by, ready to document that and paint it into history. You can get all the great works from our friend Daniel A. Moore at New Life Art. They've got a website for you, danielmooreart.com, danielmooreart.com. That includes the legend, the painting of Nick Saban's 6 national championships while he's in Tuscaloosa. You can still get that from our friend Daniel A. Moore. You can go all the way back to the goal line stand if you're an Auburn fan, the reverse, maybe the kick, maybe the Rocky block, whatever you want. Daniel A. Moore has done it. Big moments, and you can still get it. DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com. Back to the cellar in Nashville as we continue with the SEC tournament here on the next round.
Follow the Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender. Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Celebrate the best time of year, tournament time, with MyBookie.ag. Sign up right now with code NEXTROUND and receive a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000, plus a $10 casino chip. Tournament time is here, so enjoy it even more by playing along at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND on your initial deposit for a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000, plus a $10 casino chip. Don't get caught by the buzzer. Sign up now at MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster. Champy's Chicken.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation states that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Back with you now at the Cellar, this beautiful bar right here in downtown Nashville, getting ready for Auburn Ole Miss, going at the 12 noon tip time today. And then we'll play 2 games in between Auburn and the Alabama tip, scheduled to be around 8:30, 8:45 tonight when Alabama gets Kentucky after the big Kentucky win last night. And in under 5 seconds, they get the big bucket from Owe to survive Oklahoma to get a third date with Alabama this year. Has Alabama ever beaten Kentucky in three times in one season?
I don't think so. You know, it was funny, though. We were talking about how times have changed with Nate Oates and Alabama basketball. Like the last time Alabama swept Kentucky in a season series, it was all the way back in 2022 or 2021, whatever year that was. But 3 times, it's, you know, how often do you really match up with a team 3 times?
Well, you don't. And Alabama and Auburn face that same challenge today. And I think it's an equally difficult challenge because Chris Beard is such an elite level coach. And the way he can defend teams and get them out of the rhythm. That said, the 2 times they've played Auburn, he's not been able to do that to Auburn. He was able to do it to Alabama, and Tuscaloosa has been able to do it to a lot of teams. If you're Alabama, you're playing more of a team that likes to play your pace and your style, which I think plays into Alabama's hand. There with Mark Pope against Nate Oates. So It's obviously extremely difficult to beat quality teams 3 times in one season.
Before we do the spotlight, tell us about our friends at Hemphill.
205-229-2090. That is the number you need to call if you have any plumbing, heating, or cooling issues since 1954. This is the name that Birmingham has trusted for all of those issues. Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys ready on standby. 205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train, or hemphillservices.com.
Hit it, Tyler.
The College Football Spotlight.
The Shannara Spotlight presented by Alexander Shannara Trial Attorneys. If you find yourself in need of a lawyer, call the Alexander Shannara Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. They handle not only any personal injury claim, but claims for fire and storm damage, bad drug and device claims, disability, workers' compensation, and a host of other claims. Shannara.com.
All right, so our spotlight involves one of the more weird requests. Before we do the story, can we do our first drink of the day from our friends at Kicking It Cooler?
So here's what we've got. We have got the moonshine that our man Richard Holland has set up. We have the pina colada, we've got the peach, and we got the blue raz.
Okay, so we're all going to go pina colada first?
So we will go a little pina colada. Yeah, this Tennessee Shine.
So this is Tennessee
Some
Shine.
of the best moonshine out there.
Thank
Done
you.
away.
This is the pina colada I requested.
Oh, man, that smells like the beach. Smell that.
Oh, these are actually Kicking It Cooler flavors.
Okay, all right, Kicking It Cooler flavors.
Oh, so I shouldn't tread lightly with this then, right? Okay.
Not straight moonshine, all right?
Pina colada.
Yeah.
Like on ice, very cold. It's got a really good pina colada flavor to it.
It smells like the beach, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You just smell it. I feel like I'm at the beach.
It tastes like the beach.
You know, I've never tasted the beach.
I'm a big pina colada. I can't say it, but I love it.
Yeah.
I'm drunk already. One shot.
One shot for that one.
Well, people are probably thinking, well, the limes throw me off. If you have lemon in your pint of ice water,
I know it looks like
a water. When you put a lime in there, it looks like you're drinking vodka.
Vodka and something.
Let's do another flavor before I get to the story.
All right, Jim, kicking it here.
This is going to be peach.
This is Kicking It Cooler's peach.
By the way, we were at a local joint last night. I had I had some of a peach margarita.
How'd you like it?
It was okay. It was it was a little too sweet.
Okay. And
Here we go.
Get it
Cheers.
right. Where's this from now?
This is Kicking It Coolers, the new packaging.
Right.
This is going to roll out in May. And so
Okay.
we're going to let you know more information about our friends at Kicking It Coolers. But here we go.
Smells like a peach. That's good.
I like that too.
Yeah, I like peach. That tastes like summer.
That's a little
Beach to summer. Yeah.
It takes me back. It takes me back to a bar in Alabama called Hoppers. I used to go to Hoppers when I had a mullet in college in the 80s, maybe early 90s. I would occasionally get a fuzzy navel.
It's so funny.
I was so manly. I'd walk in and order a fuzzy navel and expect a girl to
Richard
go home
and
with
I,
me.
Richard lived in Birmingham for 2 years back in the early 2000s. So we were recounting old bars, and he's like, "You guys need to do a show just on that." And Brian and I were telling him, like, the nostalgic restaurants and bars that we bring up, whether it's Baby Doe's or Jump All Over the Map. But he was talking about there was a place that we used to go right by Brookwood Mall, and I was like, "Was it Brothers Music Hall?" And he was like, "No, it wasn't that old." And we finally came up with it. Do you know the name? It used to be Cabana Cafe. A lot of the Birmingham Bulls hung out there. Dunaway, I'm sure you went there.
Yes.
Do you remember what it was called? You're not going to get it, but it was called Elaine's. But
I would have never got
we sat there and battled all night, and I was finally walking to the hotel from the street, getting out of the Uber. Richard yells, "Elaine's!" It's like, damn, that was it.
Yeah. Okay, here's the story. Apparently, multiple staffers, but one in particular is the email they've uncovered. Bill Belichick is asking that if you email him to make sure that you CC his girlfriend in every email communication there at the University of North Carolina.
Blown away by this. Number one.
Don't believe it.
Well, I mean, they've got the email, right?
Yeah.
Freedom of Information Act. Is that how they did this?
Jordan Hudson is a person that is come up with this, or is Jordan the girlfriend?
Jordan's the girlfriend. Yeah, she's that's girlfriend.
Is she really 23 or
No, she's like 27, 28.
Okay, she's in her 20s.
But
they've come across this email that was requested of the University of North Carolina's Associate Athletic Director of External Affairs. And apparently it's not the only one, but he's asking any email between the AD and Bill Belichick CC his girlfriend on.
So,
and then it's coming out now that there are other people at North Carolina that Bill Belichick has made the same request of, that if you're emailing me, CC my girlfriend on.
Okay, the easy read into this is she was the only one that would look at these things. He's not going to look
He doesn't know how to read email,
which tells you that he's not fully invested, fully committed, if that is the case. But let me ask you, is she on his payroll? Like, I know she's the girlfriend, but does she have a role, like, as an administrator with him?
It seems like that she is part of Belichick Inc.
Would you not let this be known? Hey, look, not only is she my girlfriend, love her to death, but she also helps me out day to day. Like, I would unleash this on the front end knowing this was going to come out.
So the subject of the email is about social media and web content. So I don't know if she's like heading up his social media campaign. Normally there's a school employee that does that, but maybe it's his personal side.
He's in charge of his brand now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, maybe she's his brand manager.
That makes sense. It sounds weird because you're demanding this, but if she is in charge of the brand, because I was going to say, really, the only thing worse would be him sending out an email saying, you need to follow my girlfriend on these social media platforms.
Yeah. I just, number one, I can't believe she's that invested in this, but I guess if she's managing his brand, it makes a little more sense. Because I was just putting it in perspective. Number one, if I came home one day and I had told y'all to anything from the next round, you got to CC Jennifer on, it would take about one day for her to say, can you tell me to take them off those emails, please? I do not want to see all your emails. I love you guys. I love what y'all are doing, but I don't need all the emails you're getting for the next round.
That's what I'm surprised. I thought she was just along for the ride.
I know.
Like, hey, I didn't sign up. I've already got to look at you naked and your 80-year-old body. Like, I only signed up for that. Like, my benefit on the other side is everything that comes with it. That 3 minutes that I got to deal with, per every 3 or 4 days. I got that, but I don't want your emails.
But don't you think our wives and girlfriends have always sort of managed our brand?
100%.
Like, they don't want us to go out dressed like crap, or
that's right,
haircut bad, or whatever.
Yeah. And I mean, Jennifer, she follows me on all social media. She's even got her alerts set. Like, on a college football Saturday,
when you post something,
if I post something a lot, she'll be like, holy crap, you've sent a lot of tweets. I don't tweet that much during normal time.
Has she ever said, I don't think you should send?
Yeah. Does she ever police that?
Ooh. No. I mean, police is a bad word, but
it's bad to you, but it's reality. If she
reality to Dunaway.
Yeah. I actually have a very good friend of mine, and I'll call his name out. He works. He lives in Birmingham. It's a guy named Tyler Stewart. Tyler's a friend of mine, and Tyler started out jokingly, like I would send a tweet and he would text me and he would say WWJT. I was like, what's WWJT? So what would Jesus tweet?
Yeah.
And it was a joke to start with. And I was like, hey, look, if you ever see anything that you think I'm way out of line on, call me out on it. I'm fine with that. There's some accountability there, right? I don't mind accountability.
Can I do that too with it?
No. But I expect Jennifer to do the same. I mean, like, we're married. We've been married. It'll be 25 years this August. And
you get a little, I mean, I'm not on social media as much as you guys, but I've seen you go after people, and I don't know if JC would have done that.
It's generally sarcasm.
Okay.
I mean, I don't spend a whole lot of time arguing. Like, there was one of our members of our audience. God, I cannot remember his name, but he was tweeting me the other day about, when we were talking about the solar flares and creationism, and he was discussing the other side. And we had this little back and forth. It was all
By the way, got into this conversation yesterday deep, and I was shooting holes in it.
We're somewhere around, I don't believe in it. We're somewhere around Buc-ee's. We'd stopped at Buc-ee's, and let's like, all right, these solar flares. It's like, oh, God.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we go from 12,000.
I don't believe it.
12,000 years ago being like this, even more advanced in civilization. But because we go off the grid with these solar flares, then we become hunters and gatherers. But we were dumb back then. Like, our intelligence level wouldn't have dropped.
Yeah, there were so many holes in that theory. I just brought it up the other day.
Yeah, and the hieroglyphics would have been a little more high-tech, right?
Yeah. Let me see the season 2 of Paradise, and I'll let you know how I feel about the solar flares coming up. That's our Spotlight today, brought to you by our friend Alexander Shannara. Brownie.
Yeah, Shannara.com. If you're in need of an attorney, Alexander Shannara, trial attorneys, Alexander Shannara, Shannara.com. That was the Shannara Spotlight.
How about drink number 3 now? Shot number 3.
Wow, we're going through this.
For something we know Kirby Smart did but didn't really want.
Blue Raz.
What is up?
Parsons are here.
More Auburn fans. Here we go.
Yep. All right, here we go. What we got here?
All right.
What is
Blue
this?
Raz.
Blue Raz.
This is one of the new flavors of Kicking It Coolers that will come out this May. New packaging.
Number 3.
New flavors.
Yep.
So looking forward to this.
All right, I'm going to rate them. Pina, I think we drink them in the order of my favorite. They're all good. I think I went Pina Colada Peach, Blue Raspberry.
I think I would go Blue Raz, Pina Colada Peach.
Okay.
I'm with LT. That's exactly the way I go. This was the best one.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, really?
Good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, this is more of like in a pouch, like sitting on the beach. I don't know which one I would enjoy the most.
Yeah.
But as a shot, this is definitely the one.
I'm here's $1 million idea if I can get it out without slurring my speech. This would be really good in a popsicle.
Interesting.
No, you can't get it. Can't get it to freeze because the alcohol.
Yeah,
right?
I know Richard has gotten into this because they're talking about to have the right amount of alcohol, you can have a slush substance.
Right.
We've tried. If you want to come explain this, we've tried the boozy popsicles before
Yeah.
events we've done. They just don't hold up.
Hey, Richard, can I talk? I'm sorry to do this live. Can I talk on the show about what we discussed last night, the co-branded idea you had, or do you not want me to mention it? Okay. All right. I'm not going to mention it. No, I'm not going to mention it. But let me.
I would have told him to hold up to.
No, I'm just going to say it this way. Kicking It Coolers is very close to having a co-branded product that our audience is going to eat.
Oh yeah, it'll blow up.
All right. They are very close.
It's another brand that you know well, Dunaway.
Don't tell me I'm drunk right now.
Don't say this on the air.
By the way, these are not like real shots for anybody else. This is a sample of a Kicking It cooler, which is 7% ABV.
Yeah,
it's 12%. Yeah, so we did figure this. It's about the equivalent. One packaging of Kicking It coolers is like an IPA.
Yeah,
like more of a high gravity beer.
Yeah, when they release what I just wrote for Dunaway, you guys are going to eat this up. This is going to be massive.
So we know Kirby Smart really well. We know things he would like to do, not like to do. One thing he did because it helps recruiting that I'm sure he was miserable at. If you look when it comes out on the new cover of EA Sports College Football, a larger group of athletes are included this year, including Alabama's Ryan Williams, who is front and center in his crimson and white uniform. Also, you'll notice Kirby Smart is in the picture. Ryan Day's in the picture. James Franklin's in the picture. A few of the elite coaches pictured with the players. The coaches have never been in EA Sports College Football.
Recruiting?
I would imagine that there is a good chance that Kirby Smart, Ryan Day, James Franklin's actual images are in the game now, coming up in 2026. But
you think they'll see shots on the sideline of Kirby Smart
you'll
clapping?
see Kirby Smart clapping or something.
Yeah,
the coaches that have signed off.
Like, I would turn down if they were going to get anything monetized. I would have more of the recruiting messaging.
Yep.
Like if you had Lane Kiffin come to the SIP.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's 100% recruiting. I mean, that's why it would benefit them to be in there.
But just on the cover, but it's out on social media. Maybe we'll get Taylor or Scott to retweet one a little bit later on. But I would tell you that, as you see it on the screen, that Kirby Smart doesn't look like he looks hunkered down. He doesn't look like he's having the best day.
Yeah.
There's some serious mean mugs going on. There are a few smiles in the picture, but everybody's sort of mean mugging it. We know Kirby. To go on an EA Sports College Football photo shoot probably wasn't his to-do list favorite thing to do. One college football note with Texas before we get back to basketball at the top of the hour. They reported several gambling incidents with student athletes, self-reported to the NCAA. 2 of them involved football players this past year. One of them involved one football player that, according to the records that they tracked through a website, $9,600 in losses from that one football player.
I mean, this is at Texas?
At Texas, and he bet twice on Texas basketball games.
Which is illegal by NCAA rules, right?
Yes.
Well,
all of it's illegal by NCAA.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, a lot of people think because he's football betting on basketball. I just wanted to point out it does not matter what sport you're playing.
But because it's legalized gambling,
right?
They're able to track it and make sure that there's no point shaving or legal problems going on.
Yeah, but the speculation is going to be, hey, how much inside information did he have from anybody playing in the Texas
Which is the
basketball
concern,
team?
which is why it's against NCAA rules, because all these guys probably know each other.
Self-reported there, by Texas to the NCAA.
Boy, that guy hates Rodney Terry too, right? He lost $9,600 on Rodney Terry. He's ready for him to get fired.
And then there's the Dan Mullen story that we gave you yesterday, and this will be our Woodhouse. Hey, just sit back and chill a little bit. After the AD in front of the Board of Trustees said, we've only got enough money to pay Dan Mullen 2 years of the contract. We will not be able to pay him the last 3 years. You would imagine Dan Mullen's representation reach out to the AD.
Wait a minute. I got a contract right here in my hands.
Which they did. And the AD told them he misspoke. And now they have released a statement saying that Dan Mullen's contract is fully funded at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
They've got that fully funded right now.
I brought that up in a Board of Trustees meeting. I misspoke. When I said we can only cover 2 years, I meant we can cover the entire contract.
Fully funded.
Yeah, fully funded.
Don't worry, Dan.
Yes.
It is fully funded. Back to basketball we go. Tell us about our friends at Woodhouse Day Spa.
Hey, look, tournament is here. March Madness in full effect. You want to watch games all weekend long, send the wife or girlfriend to Birmingham's best day spa. It's the Woodhouse Day Spa, conveniently located at Summit Shopping Centers. Get in, tell Stuart and that fine staff the next round sent you. You can order gift cards 24/7 online. Choose from a menu of over 70 options, the waxing, the massages, the body treatments, the facials. Birmingham.woodhousespas.com. That's Birmingham.woodhousespas.com.
And while the ladies are at Woodhouse Spa, the guys can head over to the Golfus. It is a fun, social, hanging out with the buddies type place. It's affordable. They do have memberships available, by the way. And BYO, and there are a lot of letters that go on the end of that BYO. Bring your own food, bring your own beverage, bring your own alcohol, bring your own clubs, bring your own party, man, and have fun at the Golfus. Get out of the office, get into the Golfus. 3 locations, Vestavia, Trussville, and brand new on Highway 280, Cahaba Park Circle near Pink Package and Means, right there on 280. It's a great place for that out of the office meeting as well. Get out of the boring office, get into the Golfus. TheGolfus.com to book a bay or find out more. TheGolfus.com.
1 hour before tip, Auburn and Ole Miss gets us going on day 3 of the SEC tournament. 4 more games. We'll talk more about the Tigers and the Rebels and the Tide and the Cats when we come back to the Cellar in Nashville with our friends Kicking It Cooler and Vulcan Tire and Automotive. This is the Next Round.
Take the Next Round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000. Celebrate the best time of year, tournament time, with MyBookie.ag. Sign up right now, code NEXTROUND, and receive a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Plus, a $10 casino chip. Tournament time is here, so enjoy it even more by playing along at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND on your initial deposit for a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Plus, $10 casino chip. Don't get caught by the buzzer. Sign up now at MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
If you are a business that does a lot of printing, like a car dealership, mortgage company, real estate office, tax office, bank, school, or university, print more and spend less with ImageCraft. ImageCraft is located at 1151 Gadsden Highway in Trussville, just down from the Pinnacle Shopping Center, and online at imagecraft.net. They carry all the major brands like HP, Brother, Canon, Dell, Lexmark, Konica Minolta, Kyocera, Ricoh, Sharp, and Xerox. Shop in-store, mention TNR for a 10% discount. Shop online at imagecraft.net with coupon code TNR10. ImageCraft. Print more, spend less.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation states that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Final hour of the show brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. Let me tell you about Champy's first, and then we'll reset the scene here. We appreciate all the great folks. We're getting ready to walk over for Auburn Ole Miss being here. Big group of Alabama fans, a lot of Auburn fans here, decked out, ready to go over to the Bridgestone Arena for this full day, 4 more games of the SEC tournament, third straight day of four games. This SEC tournament staff is ready for the 2-day semifinals tomorrow, and then the championship coming up on Sunday. Our friends at Champy's Chicken's ready for March Madness as well. Get all the great food there with Sterling and his crew. Highway 119 in Alabaster. The chicken's brined overnight. I can't tell you this enough, that they don't cook it until you order it. That includes the chicken fingers that are hand cut. It is the chicken that's brined overnight, cooked to order. I like the 2 big breasts, the great sides, and all the wonderful food right there at Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Again, we're at this beautiful bar up here, the Cellar. And when you look at this place right now that people are here and it's packed, what a beautiful location. Anytime I come to Nashville now with the wife, I'm coming by here.
I don't know if you knew this. I didn't know they had food. Our buddy Jim Carson just got here with his wife Courtney. Yeah, and they were like, you know, we were texting Maddie to see what the menu looked like, and because we wanted to order a bunch of appetizers. They've got great looking food here.
Okay, well, I'm going to have lunch there. I'm pretty hungry.
How quick can we get an appetizer right here before 11:30?
Yeah, I can get you a menu. Yeah. I'll get Richard to bring us one here in a second. But $7 cornbread jalapeno Bloody Marys, which we will have on set.
That's
here.
Right. We're going to have it during trash. Dunaway's going to head over to the arena. We're going to do trash with a jalapeno cornbread Bloody Mary.
$6 panty droppers.
Does it actually have cornbread in the cornbread?
It does not.
It does not. It's set. Okay.
It's made with that.
Okay,
yeah.
very good.
$6 panty droppers.
Okay.
Are you going to have a couple of those?
We call those the Dunaways this weekend. Right?
Yes.
Another way we can do that. But just a great place. Fantastic ambiance. We got a good crowd showing up down here. But drop into the Cellar all weekend long for all the great specials. Come see Mike. Just a lot of fun down here, man.
Yeah, this is a great spot, by the way. If you're in Nashville, you're watching back in Birmingham, and you're just up here, so many of you come up to Nashville, stop by this place. I think you'll see it is really, really cool in the Printers Alley district of Nashville, 3rd Avenue North, 211 3rd Avenue North. It's a really cool spot.
Yeah, if you want to, especially if you want a place to sort of hang out and enjoy a drink and a conversation before you jump down on Broadway and listen to live music. They've got live music in here too, but this is just a great place.
Hey, look, I used to not be afraid of a bachelorette party.
Yeah.
But
you need a break every now and then.
If you want to shield yourself from non-stop bachelorette parties, which, you know, hey, look, occasionally they're going to drop in here.
Yep.
But, you know, there's certain places that you want that high-end, non-stop traffic and the loudness. But you want that break, and you want like quality cocktails, great pricing around here. This is one of those, a lot of the service industry comes to this bar. So it shows you how much respect those people have for this establishment.
All right. And don't forget our selection show coming up on Sunday. We're at Odie's 4 to 6. Good chance Little T and I will still be here in Nashville. We'll join the show like we did last year from Nashville, but down at the Edgewood Odie's 4 to 6. Set your alert. Basically, we'll give you 1 hour of projections and conversation about what could happen, and then 1 hour reacting to the bracket, setting up the games for Auburn, Alabama, and everyone else, and telling you about how you can get involved in our bracket challenge and also in our pick with Alexander Shinara. So we have all that coming up on Sunday.
So two-part, in the quarterfinals today, do you guys think that there will be a outright dog that wins?
I do not.
And the second part to that, based on what I was going to ask, or based on that, if both Alabama and Auburn do lose before Sunday, are you coming back?
If one of them is playing Auburn and Alabama,
yeah, no, I'm saying if both are gone.
If both are gone, I will be back in Birmingham, I believe. Yes, I've got to let Taylor tell me what my job is, but I think I will be back in Birmingham.
I'm trying to be weather aware, but I have no idea. Like Brown was telling me, the best window might be tonight to go back. The best window might be tomorrow.
Yeah.
You wait till Sunday.
Tomorrow looks bad.
No doubt the best window is tonight. Tomorrow is sketchy.
Well, I was looking at tomorrow morning, maybe doing it. But we cannot overstate this and stress this enough to be aware if you're in the Deep South tomorrow. This looks really bad.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, a lot of the people that do this for a living are like,
I mean, you don't bring up April 11th in our state.
No.
Just to scare people.
No, that's the worst day I've ever lived through in our state.
Yeah.
And you could argue the worst day in the history of our state. It's being compared to that, like the setup. I think I've seen some people say we don't expect that, but there are some similarities. It could be just below that.
Yeah, I'm right there with you guys. I remember, exactly how that day unfolded, and I remember just having that, and I got the pit in my stomach again by you guys talking about it.
God, it was such an awful day.
But, did they call it? I know technology's a lot different.
In advance, yeah. They told you it was going to be one of these kind of days.
I don't think anybody could have envisioned what it became, Lance, like James Spann or Stephanie or anybody like that could envision what it actually became. But, yeah, there were – and that's the good news. Like, the people in our neck of the woods, is that Willard Scott used to say that?
Yeah.
In our neck of the woods, deal with this so much, they're able to tell us well in advance. Like, if you haven't gotten this warning – you need to be more connected. By the way, speaking of which, and just this is a perfect transition here. Alabama Power helps you with that too, and we've got plenty of warning here, but they want you to know they are ready. They're already working on this with tech and know how to get your power back on as fast as they can. But they've also got tools that can prevent outages. A team on call 24/7. And keeping you in the loop. You can stay ahead too, though. So if you want to head on over to alabamapower.com/storm, get some storm safety tips, how you can stay safe. You can also find out how to report an outage if you happen to have one tomorrow or over the weekend, and stay updated just on the storms that are coming through. alabamapower.com/storm. Please, 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 please stay safe with Alabama Power.
All right, Tyler, let's run through some more sound, getting ready for the game coming up. Cut number 6. Here is Chris Beard getting ready to coach the third time against Auburn, who this time is not number 1. They were number 1 in the country, I believe, both other times that Ole Miss played Auburn. They were there for 8 consecutive weeks. But this time Auburn's not number 1. It's Duke. But Chris Beard knows the challenge that's ahead today at 12 noon, just coming up here in less than an hour, of his Ole Miss team trying to knock off the Auburn Tigers.
Coach, what are your thoughts on facing Auburn for a third time this season after what happened in the previous 2 meetings?
Yeah, opportunity. One of, if not the best team in college basketball. It's a 40-minute game. So, it's not going to be the better team. It's going to be the better team that played those 40 minutes. So I think we would all agree that Auburn's one of the best teams in the country. I think we'd all agree it'd be a great challenge for us, but it's a 40-minute game. And that's what makes March special. So we don't have to be better than Auburn. We just got to be better than Auburn for 40 minutes.
And Taylor and folks in Auburn basketball have sent video from over at the Auburn team hotel already.
Yeah.
Of the reverse Tiger walk of them leaving, or the Tiger walk, them leaving the hotel on their way down to the arena, and the scene there is insane. It's not Kentucky numbers in town, but the number of Auburn fans that will be in the arena, it will be a home court advantage with the crowd for the Auburn Tigers at 12 noon.
The little sample that I've gotten, by far Kentucky, but then Auburn would be number 2 on that list. I don't know where these Kentucky fans come from.
All over. I mean, like last night, I was telling Dunaway this morning, Lance, that last night we ended up in a really cool sports bar that we visited before over in the Gulch area, and it was packed with Kentucky fans. And Dunaway was like, could they just not get in? And I was like, I don't really know. I don't know if they come to town just to be part of the party, if they couldn't find tickets, if they got tickets to a different
because they announced 16,800 last night in an 18,000 seat arena.
So it wasn't a sellout.
Yeah, I don't know if they were just announcing the number of people in the building, but usually you announce tickets sold.
I don't know, but this bar was packed with Kentucky fans, and they were living and dying with every basket, as you imagine Kentucky fans do.
You go to these road SEC football weekends, like the last one I went to was in Knoxville, Tennessee, Alabama. And I saw a lot of Alabama fans up there weren't actually going to the game.
Yeah,
Some
just there
people
for the
just want the
atmosphere.
atmosphere, yeah. And especially a place like Nashville.
Yeah. And then, of course, the night game with Kentucky and Alabama, there is no doubt, no matter how many Alabama fans show up, Alabama's playing a road game today.
You don't outdo Big Blue Nation in the SEC tournament. You just don't. Nobody does.
Last night, to tell you how loud that place was with Kentucky fans, it was insanity. It was a very loud arena. Alabama will be battling the crowd today. Cut number 8, Tyler, Mark Pope, their head coach, talks about the emotions now after that last-second win of playing a team like Alabama who's already beaten you twice. Here's the Kentucky head coach.
Mark, kind of the beauty of the tournament is you get to turn around and play another game right away. Are there challenges when you're coming off such an emotional high like tonight to get these guys refocused and ready for a really tough Alabama team?
Yeah, it's incredibly challenging. And that's why it's March magic, right? It's March magic. If you can do it, then you do it, right? And so we get to be tested in an epic way. We've lost twice to Alabama. They're a top 4 or 5 team in the country. We're a little beat up and a little shorthanded, and all that's fine. That's actually where you write the great stories. That's why we're all attracted to March, is because they're just these few teams that step up and do things that nobody thinks they can do, right? Under major duress and all kind of problems. And if you don't want to be a part of that, don't go to March. We're dying to be a part of that. We want it so bad. And we want it for BBN, it's packing this joint so bad. So we're going to go fight, and we're going to see what we can do tomorrow.
Never heard it put like that. You don't want it, don't go to March. Don't go to March.
March magic. In these 2 games against Kentucky, Alabama scored 105 and 96, I believe.
Yeah, they've won by an average of 99 to 90.
Yeah. So there have been points scored in these 2 games. I was just looking.
That put you over the over, by the way. Yeah.
You're saying the over
comfortably, actually.
Alabama hit 13 threes, and Rupp hit 11 and Coleman against them, and out-rebounded them in both games. That is the recipe to Alabama beating just about anybody they played. If you're going to let Alabama out-rebound you, and Alabama is one of the best rebounding teams in the country, and you're going to let them hit 11, 12, 13 threes, that's going to be a long day for you.
Yeah.
Kentucky's got to be better defensively and on the boards than that.
Alabama's had to win a lot of games this year at the rim, including Auburn. But if they could shoot the ball like they did against Texas, both games against Mississippi State and both games against Kentucky, they could win a national championship.
Yeah, look, I'll tell you, though, this BYU team yesterday, winning against Iowa State, 18 threes.
Yes.
That's a team nobody wants to play right now with how disciplined they are. But they play that fun style, and that's a team that if Alabama was to draw, and maybe BYU now is like on the 3 or a 4 line, probably a 3 line, ultimately in this tournament, that's the kind of team that can outscore you, and that's what Kentucky's going to try to do today. And a lot of this is going to be dependent upon whether or not Alabama is hitting those threes. If Alabama, they were able to win in Neville only hitting 7 threes, but if they're back in single digits on the threes today, it could be a long night.
Butler is out, right? I mean, and I think that's going to be a story, or he's expected to be out. I don't guess there has been an official.
Lamont Butler,
yeah.
continues to get re-injured every time he tries to play.
Every single time, and I just don't know if he's ever going to be healthy again this year for them, which is very unfortunate for Kentucky.
Went to the locker room with about 10 minutes to go in the first half, never came back.
Yeah, so I don't know, even in the NCAA tournament, if they're ever going to have a 100% Lamont Butler again. So I do think that's a big factor in this game, knowing that he is in all likelihood, and I guess there'll be one more injury report today, right? So it'll be interesting to see how he's listed.
Okay, tell us about New York Butcher, because I do want to talk about the other games before I get out of here. The other games that went on around the country that could impact when you fill out your bracket with us at nextroundlive.com on Sunday.
New York Butcher Shop, the weekend is here. Pick up a couple of steaks on your way home, some of the delicious ribs, chicken, all the specialty items from the delicious sides like the goat cheese, mashed potatoes, the mac and cheese, squash casserole, fantastic desserts like that banana nut bread, a fantastic selection of fine wines as well. Stop in 2 locations, the original Cahaba Heights, Highway 119 in Greystone. Rare quality, well-done service. It is the New York Butcher Shop.
UAB in action tonight, 8 o'clock in the American quarterfinals this evening. But yesterday, not just the great double overtimes and buzzer beaters here in Nashville at the SEC tournament, but you had them all over the country. Creighton got Ryan Ashworth with a buzzer beater to beat DePaul, a bucket that tied it at the buzzer that sent them to eventually double overtime just to beat DePaul 85-84. So a big win from Creighton there. Marquette got an 89-87 win over Xavier there.
That's brutal for Xavier, by the way. That's a bubble team.
Likely knocked Xavier out. So that gives you tonight on Fox, Marquette and St. John's and UConn and Creighton. Or tournament games there. Good basketball.
Yeah, big brand. You know, we just saw Marquette and St. John's this past weekend. St. John's won a squeaker in that one. I'll tell you a game, and I don't know if you're going to get to the Mountain West, but Boise State, who is on the bubble right now, taking on New Mexico.
Not on the bubble anymore, but that win.
Well,
I was going to say, well, no, if they are to beat New Mexico, they got to be in.
Joe Lenardi still has the first 4 out. Now, that was at 6 o'clock last night, and I think that game ended
after that.
It was after 6, so Joe has not updated. Yeah. I'll try to
my free play today is Boise. I think Boise wins this game against the Lobos. Brown had to hear way too much Boise yesterday with San Diego State and their soon-to-be voice retiring. What do you say? I'm off to the pasture.
I'm off to the pasture. So Lance was like, you think there's any way we can find Boise State and San Diego State? And there's like 7,000 play-by-play channels on XM, and I finally actually found the game. And we got the San Diego State announcer doing what might be his last game ever, and it was not great.
It was interesting.
Boise State, North Carolina, and Texas were the biggest bubble winners yesterday, according to the Field of 68. They feel like Boise has earned their right into the tournament.
Well, I think Boise's got the best opportunity of those 3 to win a game today.
Wake Forest got beat yesterday by North Carolina. North Carolina sliding into the right side of the bubble. They get Duke tonight, 6 o'clock ESPN. Clemson gets Louisville. Louisville had a big bucket that won the game for them. They've had an unbelievable last 17, 18 games for Louisville, a big turnaround for them. So North Carolina, Duke, Clemson, Louisville at the ACC tournament tonight. All 4 of those are in.
Yeah, Clemson, the Hunter kid is out for the season. I don't know if you saw that. And he's much like he's probably their 6th guy coming off the bench, though. But that's one of these factors. And you talk about Pat Kelsey, your ACC Coach of the Year, and the great turnaround there. We finally get a good ACC matchup, though.
That's right, finally.
Yeah.
It took getting these 4 to the Final Four to get a good matchup. BYU, Houston, and Arizona and Texas Tech in the Big 12. And that BYU team, as you were talking, may be playing as good a basketball as anybody in the country right now.
Yeah, they're a team that loves the up-tempo. They shoot the 3. Again, they hit 18. I mean, I don't know how you beat them if they hit 18 threes.
It's going to be tough to beat anybody that's 18 threes.
They beat Iowa State yesterday doing that. Iowa State team's not the same. And then, if you're doing something for the last time, you want to go out on brand, right?
Yep.
If I remember correctly on this show, you guys were not the biggest fans of Fran McCaffrey of Iowa.
Not a big fan of his. I've watched some of him, the way he interacts. I don't really care.
Is that a way you're going to love it? We were actually listening to play-by-play when it happened.
Yeah, after Boise finally put our guy out to pasture, we flipped over to Illinois, Iowa.
I still haven't seen video of this. Was it pretty obvious?
No, our guy was wrong on the play-by-play guy, because I don't know if you know this, what our play-by-play guy said.
Oh, I didn't.
So Fran McCaffrey gets the tee. You hear it in the background, beep, and you hear the crowd go crazy. I was like, oh, he just got teed up, Lance. And then you quickly hear another And I'm like, he's gone. And then the play-by-play guy was a national guy. It wasn't either school. It was like some radio network, national radio network. And he goes, I think Fran McCaffrey just flipped them off. And I've gone back to look, and it looks like he's doing something like that. I don't think he flipped
But I was
them off.
like, damn, I've never seen that.
I didn't either, but I thought it's believable with Fran McCaffrey that he could have just birded the guy on his way out the door. But that's probably it for him at Iowa. And what a bad way to go out.
Yeah, I've seen the dreaded 10-lettered word thrown that Crash Davis and Bull Durham said you can't say it. You're going to get tossed. That's been thrown out there. But I've never seen, like, a coach actually flick off one of the officials.
I don't think that's what happened.
If you missed all that, Fran McCaffrey ejected in what is expected to be his final game. He has always been an angry guy coaching the Iowa Hawkeyes, and he goes out. Illinois looks to be healthy again, and they're playing pretty good basketball.
Big game with Illinois and Maryland today.
106-94 in the Big Ten, where Maryland is also an NCAA tournament team. All right, so I'm about to get out of here to go over to watch the tip of Auburn. We'll have all your coverage, including the live basketball show, coming up after each game today of the Auburn game and the Alabama game. So reaction to Auburn and Ole Miss and reaction to Alabama and Kentucky. Not immediately after the games like usually. We'll have some post-game that we'll be kicking out. We'll be in the locker rooms, and then we'll end up going live for your reaction after both games today, Taylor Corn and I, a little bit later on. You're looking at the birthdays here.
I read that wrong. Brett McMurphy sent out happy birthday to Jay Salvelt, the Wyoming head coach. 54 years old, says the sixth oldest head coach in the Mountain West, 46. I read it, sixth oldest coach in the FBS, and I was like, damn, 54 is the sixth oldest.
I know. That would have been amazing.
Yeah, I read that wrong.
And Tim Beck, Brett McMurphy does this every day. I can only imagine what his Facebook alerts are like. Coastal Carolina's Tim Beck is 59 today. And to your point, Beck is the oldest head coach in the Sun Belt, but the 16th oldest coach in the FBS, and he's 59. So it has gotten a lot younger.
Yeah.
It has gotten a lot younger. All right, coming up, trash, more samplings from the great folks here at the Cellar here in Nashville with our friends at Kicking It Coolers, but also Vulcan Tires and Automotives bringing you coverage of the SEC basketball tournament all weekend long.
Yeah, whether or not you're coming up to Nashville, wherever you're driving from, heading to this area, maybe you're going to a spring break destination in the next couple of weeks, Vulcan Tire and Automotive, bumper to bumper, anything you need, these guys can handle. Make sure you mention the next round when you drop into one of these Birmingham locations. They are going to take care of you. Mention the next round, best tire pricing in Birmingham, guaranteed. Also 15% off any and all mechanical from our friends at Vulcan Tire and Automotive. For more information, VulcanTireandAuto.com.
All right, quick point spread check. Auburn is minus 12.5 as they take on Ole Miss. All these spreads coming from MyBookie.ag. Tennessee, a 10-point favorite later this morning, or this afternoon, really, against Texas. Duke, a 7-point favorite tonight in the ACC tournament over the North Carolina Tar Heels, likely without Cooper Flagg for the remainder of this tournament. Florida, 9.5-point favorite over the Missouri Tigers tonight. And then the late game, by the way, UAB, a 6-point favorite over East Carolina and Fort Worth in the American. And the late game tonight, Alabama still a 7-point favorite over Kentucky. You can play all those games and all the games that are on the board in any sport right now at mybookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on at mybookie.ag. You are going to get a 50% sign-on bonus in the sports book up to $1,000, 50% up to $1,000, and a $10 casino chip at mybookie.ag when you use code next round. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag, code next round. That's MyBookie.ag, code next round.
Bloody Marys and trash on the other side. Stay with us.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
What a great time of year to be online with our friends at MyBookie.ag, MyBookie.ag, where right now you get a major current sign-up bonus, a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000, plus a $10 casino chip when using the code NEXTROUND. That's code NEXTROUND. We're talking about all the madness of March, the NBA playoff race, the start of Major League Baseball, and it's all for you right now online when using the code NEXTROUND. Go sign up today, MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND. Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
There's no off-season at CoverCrimson.com. Sign up now and get daily shows plus behind-the-scenes intel that will keep your Alabama fandom rolling all the way up until kickoff. Follow Cover Crimson on all social platforms and sign up today at CoverCrimson.com.
Looking to expand your business? Let the Next Round help you. Contact us, sales@nextroundlive.com, and be part of the team. Advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platforms. The Next Round can take your business to the next level. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, while reaching the most desirable audience for your business. Get more information by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level using the Next Round.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Return on the Next Round. We are at the Cellar in Nashville. It is in the Printers Alley district, in that area right there. If you're familiar with Nashville, just a couple blocks off Broadway, not too far from Bridgestone Arena. The Cellar, it is on 2nd Avenue North, 3rd Avenue North, 211 3rd Avenue North is where you find the Cellar. And it is a great place to come. Like, so many people come to Nashville all the time. If you're ever in Nashville, this is a cool place. And here's what I'm going to say about it. I do enjoy Broadway. I like going and hearing some of the live music. Broadway is a lot, though. And this is one of those. It's a really cool bar. And we're going to sample some of the food, too. But it's a little bit off the the chaos of Broadway.
Yeah. I mean, it's not off the beaten path because we're right by Bridgestone. We're right around the corner from Broadway. But it is a nice change of pace if you just like. Boy, I hate to call it an adult bar.
Well, I mean, I would just say if you've ever spent much time in Nashville, Printers Alley and Broadway have a totally different vibe.
Yeah. That's a fair way to put it. And again, I brought up the service industry. A lot of those people love to come here. So that's a testament in itself right there. But fantastic drinks. Here you go, the cornbread jalapeno.
This is the
Bloody Mary.
The jalapeno cornbread Bloody Mary. Now, there were people on the chat room, and I'm going to confess, I thought the same thing at first, Lance, that thought it was going to have a piece of cornbread as a garnish.
Yeah, I wouldn't have minded that.
Not at
I
all.
love me some cornbread.
Not at all, but I cannot imagine our girl Kat back there who's slinging the drinks this morning at the cellar having to cut up a piece of cornbread and put it on. They would hate that.
I got to say, I'm not a big Bloody Mary guy, but I drink,
that's good.
Maybe 5 a year, and they've got to be in certain circumstances. It really needs to be before noon, which we're there.
you have hit that.
But this
That's
is
good.
great. So these are $7 all day, $6 panty droppers, or we'll call them the Dunaway. Drink specials all weekend long, but stop in, see them. As you mentioned, the food, Mike, Kat, all the fine folks here. We really appreciate the hospitality from the cellar.
Yep, great place here, the cellar. Before we talk about a few more games, Michelson Laser Vision, and we're going to get to trash too. Michelson Laser Vision bringing you part of the show.
Yeah, literally one of the best decisions I made back in the radio days was going to see Dr. Mark Michelson. I had the 2200 vision. I was legally blind without the aid of contacts. After the procedure, which only took 12 minutes for both eyes, 20/15 vision, better than 20/20. 205-969-8100. Very important. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. She's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. You have zero to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. 205-969-8100. For more information, you can always go online, michelsonlaservision.com.
It is a foregone conclusion that one of the two guys on this list are going to win the Naismith Player of the Year, the Jersey Mike's Naismith Player of the Year, by the way. I did not know Jersey Mike sponsored that.
Stepping up. See you guys. Have
some
fun.
Mississippi State fans that swung by.
Our UPS guy.
Our UPS guy, members of our audience, and they swung by, big State fans. Their team's gone, but they're still hanging around and watching. But here are your finalists for the Naismith Player of the Year. Walter Clayton Jr., Florida.
Okay.
Cooper Flagg, Duke.
Not
a surprise. Janai Broom, Auburn, of course. Cam Jones of Marquette. Ryan Kalkbrenner of Creighton, R.J. Luis Jr. of St. John's. I'd say, obviously, this goes without saying, he's on the Naismith Award list. That is St. John's best player.
Well, and he's probably going to be a first-team All-American.
Yeah.
He averages 17. And
a lot of people know about St. John's is Rick Pitino, and it's why I maintain there'll be a sexy pick by a lot of people in your bracket contest, but this guy is a stud player for them. Mark Sears, Alabama. I think in a lot of ways has not been the Mark Sears year people thought he would have, but we kind of made that point coming into this year with Alabama's better roster than they had last year. And with all Mark Sears has done, it was going to be near impossible for him to improve in people's eyes. All he could probably do is meet expectations, not exceed them.
Right. Yeah. So I just think him to be mentioned on this list as, all it needs to say.
Braden Smith, Purdue, big guy at Purdue. Where the big guys at Purdue ever have big guys? John Tanji at Wisconsin and JT Toppin at Texas Tech. It's going to be, obviously, Janai Broom or Cooper Flagg. I brought this up for two reasons. Number one, the SEC flavor. But number two, I'm guessing this is the first time we've had two state players on the Naismith Trophy semifinalist list. I can't think of another time in our history that has happened. But that is showing you the level of basketball that we got in this state.
Maybe so. Chuck Person was Person 85.
Yeah,
was maybe like Buck Johnson.
Maybe
That might have been.
Honestly, I'm not even sure how old the Naismith.
Guys, have fun.
The Naismith.
Be safe.
We got the Auburn fans tapping out because they're headed over to the arena. I'm not sure how old the Naismith Player of the Year award even is. So that's a tough one to ask. I know I've harped on this a lot before we get to trash. I have harped on this a lot, and I get it. But it is so weird seeing Kansas be this bad. And they got bumped by Arizona last night, which, by the way, was strange enough to see Kansas and Arizona play as two unranked teams in their conference tournament. But to see Kansas go out this early in their conference tournament, they owned this conference.
Well, kind of the not argument, but kind of a discussion point that we've had this week, how many of these SEC teams – it's really important to win this tournament. We used to have this discussion with Kansas when they won, I think it was 13 consecutive regular season Big 12 championships. Once they typically got to Kansas City, what is this team going to do? Does it really matter? Do they need to win this Big 12 tournament? They're already locked in as a 1 seed. So to not have any of those conversations when we're talking about arguably the most successful coach, active coach right now in basketball, and Bill Self, it is kind of strange.
Yeah, what has blown me away, though, is seeing, again, and I know I beat this dead horse, seeing how Houston has come in and has taken this conference over from Kansas. And I'm not saying Bill Self's going to get fired by any stretch of the imagination, but you do wonder if Bill Self has a little bit of a reset. I mean, what is
trying to look for another example like this?
Am I wrong about this? Do I just misremember this? That LeBaron Philon, one of the reasons he came to Tuscaloosa, he committed to Auburn. He ended up going to Kansas or committing to Kansas, and he was concerned about his playing time at Kansas. Do I remember that incorrectly?
I don't know.
I know. I swear I think that's what I thought it was. It was like he was just concerned what playing time he was going to get at Kansas. He goes and meets with Oates, and he sees what their plan is for him at Alabama, likes that situation better. I watch Kansas. I'm like, LeBaron Philon would be one of their best players. I mean, he's one of Alabama's best players, obviously, but he made a huge difference for Kansas.
Yeah, but you would have thought that Ryland Griffin, based on the way Kansas is playing right now, would be a big contributor too, right?
Yeah, and he is a bit of a role player.
Yeah. So
comes off the bench a lot.
Maybe this is a good way to make an analogy. Maybe Dabo Swinney at Clemson is what Bill Self's going through right now.
Yeah.
Now Dabo had a couple of what we would say average years, but yeah, he did just win the ACC and get to a college football playoff. But this seems like, Dabo a couple of years ago.
Yeah, as Zach points out in the MyBookie.ag chat room, you essentially traded Ryland Griffin for LeBaron Philon. And there's not an Alabama fan that
pretty good trade.
Yeah, that would regret that trade right now, right? All right, it's time to get to trash, and then we'll wrap up talking about some of these games. As we get to the end of the show here, Dunaway already headed over to Bridgestone Arena. We'll get you ready for what's going on at Bridgestone Arena. But first, Mortgage Right brings you trash. Tyler, if you will, back in Birmingham, please go ahead and hit that button and bring us another great trash open.
I'm here with the winner, Derek Lewis. Derek, why'd you take your pants off? My balls was hot. I understand.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
That's Forrester's favorite, by the way. He said that's his overall number one. My balls was hot.
It's definitely a 1C. I don't know if it's my favorite, but it is pretty incredible.
Scott's overall 1.
Our trash always brought to you by the mortgage experts, Mortgage Right. No cost or obligation to find out what you qualify for. Call the mortgage experts, 205-900-7200, mortgageright.com, NMLS 2239, equal housing lender. We start first, a Brooklyn man who ran a business named for a fake company from the TV show Seinfeld to swindle $1.34 million from real estate and cryptocurrency investors, leaving some victims with absolutely nothing, has pleaded guilty to wire fraud.
It's not the World Fund, is it? That was Georgia's made-up charity, was the World. No, I think Tyler, can you remember, Jeeves? Well, what was Georgia's made-up charity? Was it the World Fund?
The Human Fund.
The Human Fund. How funny is that? That was his made-up charity, was the Human Fund.
Thomas Sraga allegedly told victims from 2019 to 2022 he could generate healthy double-digit returns by renovating and reselling homes, paying startup costs on a big construction contract, and funding a cryptocurrency, quote, virtual wallet. Now, prosecutors say that Sraga, 55, also known as TJ Stone, big difference in names, instead used victims' money for personal expenses and to repay earlier victims. At least he did repay earlier victims.
Okay.
This is the first swindler I've seen with a conscience in a while.
Yep.
He told victims who asked why their money was delayed that his father was, quote, terminally ill.
So, go ahead.
Yeah. According to court papers, Sraga told victims he led multiple businesses, including the Vandalay Contracting Corporation.
Vandalay Industries. Yeah, it's remarkable that people fell for this. And I guess when you watch
I wouldn't have known.
I know, I was about to say, when you watch a show, it's obvious to you. You've never really watched Seinfeld, so Vandalay Industries would have meant nothing to you. If I had called and said, hey, I can get you double-digit returns on Vandalay Industries with a buddy of mine, you'd be like, okay.
But if you would have told me, like, Gus Fring's chicken joint, like, hey, we're if you want to invest in this.
Los Pollos Hermanos?
Yeah, I would have been like, hey, that one jumps out. Now, this is 1992 Seinfeld episode. George Costanza falsely claimed that he interviewed for a job as a latex salesman. Vandalay Contracting registered to do business in New York in 2011. But yeah, he took $1.3 million. Could face 33 to 41 months in prison under recommended federal sentencing guidelines. You steal somebody's retirement island time.
Vandalay Industries, they were importers, exporters.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, they were. They, I think, Tyler, if I remember correctly, they imported shoelaces and exported potato chips. Am I right about that?
That sounds right. And part of the issue was he was trying to focus too much on the importing and Elaine wanted him to balance it with the exporting.
That is correct. It is a great episode, Lance, because George is in need of a job. Or no, he's trying to get unemployment, so he tells him he's working for Vandalay Industries as a latex salesman. And Kramer is the president of Vandalay Industries. It's actually a very funny episode. Just across the street before you go to your next story, we've got a bachelorette party about to hit the strip. And they're all in cowboy hats and cowboy boots.
Hey, and they're under a sign.
Under a
Matt
sign.
was telling me, I would never walk into a place where the marquee says coma inducer.
Oh, I just saw that for the first time. What does coma inducer do? I mean,
they're plush comforters, but you can't really read the plush comforters.
Oh, you can't because it's the same color as the sign.
Yeah, and they have a big sign underneath that says, "We're open, coma inside." Play on words.
But that is a terrible slogan. But
I would agree. Employees at a truck stop in Denmark, Tennessee. I've never heard of Denmark, Tennessee. You?
No, I have not, and I'm in Tennessee right now.
They felt threatened when at least 4 people came into a gas station with 2 pythons. Now, in surveillance pictures provided by the Madison County Sheriff's Office, you can see the men holding the snakes, placing them on the counter. The workers said the men with the pythons stole about $400 worth of CBD oil. Mayor Rabel said he and his brother were working at the store at the time. He was afraid of snakes. Quote, they were just waving them around, putting them on the counter. One person
just waving around.
Brought in one snake first. Then another. He brought one that was white, one that was brown, one that was mixed. Rabel said the men with the snakes were able to grab the CBD oil from the counter. He thinks they wanted to take more than that, but too many customers were around. They drove away in a small 4-door sedan.
They needed Mr. Yarbrough, the snake man. One of the highlights of my middle school years and high school years was the assembly where Mr. Yarbrough.
Did he bring venomous snakes?
Yep. Now, I don't know if they had been. Can't you take out the venom? Like you can bleed bleed the venom, right? I think the rattlesnakes, like the timber rattlers and all.
Damn, you still get one of those bites.
Oh yeah, it ain't good.
Yeah.
And he would always throw it on the floor, and the girls would squeal because you could hear it pop, right? And then that rattler would, he'd start firing off that rattler. But I'm telling you, man, it wasn't just entertaining. I feel like I learned a lot about snakes from Mr. Yarbrough. Like you learned about.
Did he tell you about the coral snake?
Red touching yellow, kill a fella. Yeah. Yellow touching black, you pat him on the back. He would teach you about, how to tell the difference between snakes, snake safety. You learned a lot. It was the most informative assembly we had all year.
Snake safety. So nobody missed that day?
Nobody. Because I think, as I remember it, in assemblies, you had to sign up for them ahead of time. Like some of them, maybe you had to bring $5 or something like that. Like I think Mr. Yarbrough, you had to pay to go to it. But everybody paid to go to that one. That was the highlight of the year.
Snakes, right?
I know he's making a living, and his wife would come with him. And Lance, he would have these. He would have a golf club, a golf club with the grip, and the club head was cut off, and it had a hook on it, and that's how we'd pull the snake out. And he'd have long hooks for some of the more dangerous snakes, and shorter hooks for maybe some of the easier snakes to maneuver. He had a cobra. He'd get the cobra all pissed off, and it'd raise out the hood.
Damn.
Oh, man, I loved it. It was awesome. Anybody that grew up in Calhoun County, and I think he would do that area, like Calhoun, Cleburne, St. Clair, that area over there.
I wonder if he dropped one, because I will never forget my late grandfather telling me a story he swears there was a cobra on his property. He's like, I don't know if it was a
This guy had one. Oh, and he had either the python or the boa. And he would take volunteers out of the crowd to come hold it because it was 20 foot long.
Yeah.
And, you'd stand there and you just have it in your arm. Man, I loved it, man. It was awesome. We'd do it every year.
Breeze the Airbender has emerged as a remarkable example of pseudo-scientific self-defense innovation. Initially dubbed wind boxing, Breeze quickly rebranded his creation as force boxing. Mystical combat system allegedly combining boxing techniques with elemental bending and spiritual energy manipulation.
I'm going to need to hear more.
Yeah.
That first paragraph was pretty confusing.
Operating out of Florida, self-styled instructor has established a precise pricing structure for his supernatural services. Now, for just $333.33.
That's a very specific price. I'm just going to use all threes.
Fractioneers can acquire his, quote, dragon's blood stick, purportedly capable of unleashing untamed streak in both physical and spiritual realms. Now, his comprehensive training program, the Golden Age package, costs $55.55, promises to teach magical spells, elemental bending, and his revolutionary martial art. When confronted about his credentials, By McDojo Life's Rob, Breeze provides remarkably candid responses. Quote, be completely honest, my imagination is my source. I didn't study anything or go anywhere but within myself. Martial arts is a skill you don't need professional instruction or influence. I'm going to disagree with this.
Yeah, I think you do need some skill.
Who's your dojo?
Master Scarcella.
Yes.
6th degree black belt, I believe. 6th or 7th degree black belt. He's the one teaching my daughter. My daughter's a 1st degree black belt, about to be a 2nd degree black belt in Taekwondo. I think he's a 6th degree. That guy could kill you and be nice doing it.
Better golf or better killer?
I've played him twice in golf and we've split. I beat him one time. He beat me one time. So he's a good player. He's a good athlete. I mean, he's just somebody like that's going to be a good athlete.
The most revealing evidence of Breeze's capabilities came during a sparring session with a martial arts reviewer when he demonstrated virtually no practical fighting skills.
None.
His training videos feature attempts to control leaves on trees, perform what he calls forced fist techniques. When a potential student expressed genuine interest in learning, Breeze refused, declaring, quote, I don't accept you as my student.
Do not accept you.
According to a CBS News study, a surprising 16% of Americans claim personal experiences with supernatural abilities. This cultural context might explain the emergence of figures like Breeze, who appears to be part of a small cult of individuals claiming supernatural abilities. His girlfriend reportedly engages in similar practices, making them both potential targets and perpetrators of systemic deception. These might be the people that lived across the street from Tyler.
Could have been. Tyler, I mean, they weren't really into martial arts, were they, Tyler? They were just squatch hunters?
I don't know if they were in the martial arts. I think they just went into the woods and looked for Bigfoot.
The one of Hallie's instructors, Master Maria, can do a backflip, Lance, and they hold boards up like this, and he does a backflip, and with his feet he breaks the boards.
Are you kidding?
Oh, I got video of it. I'll send it to Scott.
Well, is this one of the shows, or is this his regular practice warm-up?
Oh, no, this is like when they're doing a show. I'll send Scott the video, but I can show you the video right here. Like, it is, I don't guess he minds me showing it. I mean, it's pretty awesome for him. But watch this. Just does a backflip and breaks it.
I mean, the backflip in itself and, like, actually kicking something is pretty impressive. I don't know how thick that is, but it's thick enough, right?
Thick enough that it's impressive, yeah.
The TikTok trends drive me crazy. Here's the newest, dumbest TikTok trend.
I bet I've seen it because I'm on TikTok.
It has emerged, and it's called the airport theory.
Yeah.
It advises arriving at the airport just 15 minutes prior to departure.
You and I approach this differently. There are a few things, as you know, there are a few things in life that give me anxiety. But one thing, probably the only thing in life that gives me any anxiety is being late somewhere. Like
that gives me anxiety. Man.
Yeah,
I hate being late.
I do too. If I'm running, I hate feeling rushed and being late. So if I'm running late somewhere, I've just got tremendous anxiety. So I get to the airport 2 hours before my flight. Now you cut it a little closer than I do in our history together. I've noticed that.
Yeah, I'm trying to, and I try to get there a little early. Now I am flying out next week, and I'm leaving I've got to fly out of Atlanta, which sucks.
Yeah, it does.
But I'm leaving at 5:16 a.m. So what time do I leave Birmingham to comfortably get to that flight?
That's a 5:16 Eastern departure? All right, so that's 4:16. I personally, if this were me, I would leave Birmingham at noon.
Midnight?
Oh, is it in the morning?
Yeah, it's 5:16 a.m.
Oh, my Lord. Yeah. Well, first of all, I'd spend the night in Atlanta. That's what I would do.
Would you really?
Yeah, I'd just go ahead and get a hotel room in Atlanta. You get a place out near the airport, not too bad.
Yeah.
No, I am 2 hours before my flight, even at Birmingham Airport, which is not bad. And we're TSA pre-check, so security generally is easy for us. But I'm still 2 hours ahead. And I end up spending a lot of time sitting at the gate. But I had rather do that than feel rushed.
Yeah. I've only missed one flight in my life, and it wasn't my fault. Well, I guess two. I missed a connector the last time I flew.
Yeah, but that
wasn't my fault.
That was a delay, right?
Yeah, it was out of New York, and that was just a delay. And then I missed another one, circumstances out of LA. Wasn't my fault, but man. And that's I'll get to what they say in this. Now, most airlines are going to give away your seat if someone is standing by for it 15 minutes prior to the departure. They close the doors 10 minutes out, so 15 minutes is a bit of an exaggeration. But the general sentiment is right. The advice, especially for people likely to receive it on TikTok, is not. However, not all attempts are successful. Clear situations where travelers miss their flights Reportedly, the TikTok trend has led to a dramatic spike in online searches for missed flights. Airlines and airports typically give very conservative guidance because, one, they don't want to be blamed by other cases or outlier cases where someone shows up closer to departure and misses their flight. And two, they benefit from people who are there earlier, ready to travel, like you spending money at the retail shops while they wait. However, the amount of time you should arrive prior to departure depends on a lot of different factors. Check bags, security, special needs, accommodations, what airport you're flying from, and most importantly, probably how important is the trip to you.
Yeah, I mean, if it's important enough, you're not going to risk missing the flight. Yeah. And that's the way I have approach it. We're flying somewhere during spring break. We're flying to D.C., as I mentioned the other day. We're taking our youngest up to D.C. during spring break next week while you're going too. Dunaway going to fight the good fight for the show. And the way I view that is, okay, so I spend an hour sitting at an airport gate. I know I'm not going to miss my flight. And is that hour really going to matter once I get on my trip, right?
Well, and there's things you can do at the airport.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. Now, at Birmingham Airport, there's less. But if you're like in Atlanta or O'Hare or somewhere like that.
Typically, it depends on how long the flight is. But I'll get there, have a cocktail because I'm uneasy when it comes to flying anyway. Then I start downloading shows to watch on the flight.
Right.
Now, a lot of these flights now have everything built in, but I still want to choose what I want to watch.
You got a longer flight coming up than I do, so I definitely would not be late for that one. Is that trash?
That's it.
It's presented each day by Mortgage Right.
Mortgage Right are your mortgage experts. Again, no cost or obligation to find out what you can qualify for. 205-900-7200, mortgageright.com.
We all doubted Missouri, and all went Mississippi State last night. Taylor will send out our picks in a little bit, and there are some differences in our picks. But as Jake says, why did y'all sleep on Mizzou last night? They are legit. Mississippi State and Missouri last night. Missouri won that game. It was the worst game of the night, and that was a single-digit win. Why did we doubt Missouri?
Well, as you said yesterday, they were leaking oil coming in. Dennis Gates, has had an incredible season turning this thing around from going 0-18 last year, losing one and done in Nashville. Mark Mitchell has been fantastic, and I said it yesterday, I can't figure Mississippi State out either, so I'm not surprised. We just all happen to be on the same side.
All right, Scott's got the picks for today, so let's talk about the games today. He's going to throw those up. We have sent them all to Taylor. I went with all the favorites. I don't know where I do know for a fact there was one favorite you did not go with. We'll talk about that in a moment. I went with all the favorites. Dunaway went with all the favorites. You went with 3 of the 4 favorites, except for the late game.
I just feel like there is an underdog that is going to win today. Yesterday was not predictable, but I just feel like once we get to this, the SEC is so balanced. Obviously, there's 4 teams we talk about before we talk about other teams, but I just think one of these favorites is going to go down today, and it just makes the most sense for me. Skinniest number,
which
Alabama.
Is not a particularly skinny number in basketball. Yeah,
skinniest number. Kentucky, winning the way they won. A lot of times that will propel a team. Refocused after blowing the double-digit lead with 1:20 to go. I've just got a feeling that Kentucky plays well tonight.
Auburn is up to 13 now at mybookie.ag. Bobby was saying earlier in the chat room that game opened at 10.5.
Yeah, that's and typically a line movement like that within hours of tip. I would say 65-70% of the time Auburn's going to cover that game.
He said it scared him. So it does not scare you at all?
No.
Tennessee has dropped a little bit down to 9.5. Now, the difference between styles of play, the Tennessee-Texas total is 136.5.
Well, I was going to say 9.5 for Tennessee is every bit of 12.5 for Auburn.
Exactly.
And I think
because of the style of play.
What you're relying on here, Tennessee comes in fresh. Texas, although Rodney Terry said it, we're finally healthy. They're coming into this a little weary on the legs.
We talked about this earlier in the week. I can't remember. Oh, it was Richard Hendricks. It was when Richard Hendricks was on with us talking about how the early window is going to be this defensive window. The late windows, these teams that like to run. So your total for Auburn and Ole Miss, just real quickly, is 157. I just mentioned your total for Tennessee, Texas is 136.5. Here you go in the night slate. Missouri and Florida, your total is 162. Florida's a 9-point favorite. Your total for Alabama and Kentucky, which these 2 games against them have been super high scoring, is 179.5. Bama's a 7-point favorite.
Yeah,
shows you the difference.
2 meetings, they've averaged 189 points. So, that would squarely, obviously, get this thing over. not much sweat with that. Again, I don't love the over. I don't like the under, though. I don't know the way I would play that total.
You got to have one or the other.
I do like Kentucky plus the points tonight, though.
Do you now?
Hey, that's coming from a guy that was 2-15 yesterday.
Yeah. So listen at your own risk on that. By the way, one more look at that Duke game. Duke a 7-point favorite over North Carolina. They're going to, like Vegas is saying Cooper Flagg is not playing, right? And Shiner said he's very doubtful.
And look, we talked to a Duke fan earlier that was in here, and he said, man, we don't need to play Cooper Flagg at all at this ACC tournament.
Yeah. So I think the point spread shows that. All right. Let's thank some people for this show today. Let's start, and you'll tell us about all the great stuff we've had right here. I want to start by thanking the people at the Cellar. They have been tremendous hosts, and this is a tremendous place to come just off Broadway in the Printers Alley area. When you are in Nashville, come to the Cellar. This is a really, really cool spot. 3rd Avenue North, 211 3rd Avenue North. See Kat and the crew here at the Cellar. Great place to come. We cannot thank them enough for hosting us on the show today, giving us a place to do the show. And our friends at Tennessee Shine and Kicking It Coolers have hosted us too.
Yeah, so many great products. And we've been telling you guys for the last couple of years about Kicking It Coolers. They've got 5 new flavors that are coming out this May. We sampled 3 of those flavors today. Just fantastic stuff. Things like the jalapeno, moonshine jalapeno, where just, I don't know. I don't even know how to attack this thing.
I really don't. I want to attack it, though, don't you?
Yeah. Look, they've got a great presence not only in Nashville, up in the Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge area. We've got shows that we will tell you about later on that we're planning up in those areas. But, yeah, we appreciate Richard Holland and all the fine folks at Kicking It Coolers and Tennessee Shine.
Yeah, they have been great hosts, and I would just say I think Atlanta is the perfect spot for the SEC football championship, not as centrally located as this. They should never play another SEC championship anywhere but here. I'd love to see it in Birmingham. Trust me, but this is the perfect place.
Hey, and I'm not going to be surprised when they build the new Titan Stadium if we see a shift maybe in the SEC championship football game.
You know what Dunaway's said? My Uber driver told me that it's running ahead of schedule. It's going to be done by 2029. And I was like, 2029? That was 4 years ahead of schedule. I don't think that's ahead of schedule.
Yeah, I think SoFi was able to clock it in 4 years.
Yeah, and they had all kinds of
we didn't talk about that. How close did I come to getting hit by a car last night?
Very. And you let them know about it. Lance and his beautiful girlfriend, Maddie, were walking in front of me and Richard Holland.
Hadn't had a drink all night.
No, and there was a little gap between us, and the car tried to shoot the gap, which was Bush League, and almost clipped you.
I felt it on my calf.
Yeah, almost clipped you.
Not exaggerated. It freaked me out.
Yeah. Thank you to the Cellar. Thank you to Tennessee Shine. Thank you to Kicking It Coolers for having us here on the next round. Enjoy the basketball tonight and this weekend. We'll see you live from Odie's. Set your alerts, 4 to 6 on Sunday. Selection Sunday from Odie's in Edgewood. Until then, have a great weekend. Thank you for joining us on the next round.